People, good evening. Good evening, everyone. What a night of boxing. What a fucking night of boxing. Oh, man. Thank you, as always, for coming through the channel. Much appreciated. Who's in here? Let me quickly say hello to a few of you that are in already. What's this? JM, did anyone see Fury's stall? I didn't see it. What was it? What was that about? I'll name this account later. Regarding Cheeseman, do you think it's time for people in boxing to protect him from himself, for promoters, trainers, etc., to tell him you can't put your head through this trauma every time you fight? No, not really. I think it's up to him to kind of decide. I guess he does the medicals, and as long as he passes the medical, he's gonna fight, right? That's what fighters do. They fight. Dan Brown, Ade, do you think AJ should have a 2016 year? 3 fights, first fight being against HELENIUS. AJ needs a rebuild. If he needs a rebuild, the last thing I want him to do is fight HELENIUS. That HELENIUS against KOWNACKI yesterday looked very, very good. So, I don't know. I don't know what AJ should do. Look, we know what he's going to do. He's going to take the Usyk rematch. That's probably going to be in March, April. And then we'll see. Then we'll see what happens. If he loses to Usyk, then it's not that it's over, because there are loads of fights that he can have left. But it's a long way back, and then maybe HELENIUS type of fighters, guys just in and around that top 10, top 15. But if he beats Usyk, then you know what's going to happen. All the Fury AJ talk starts again. Connor says, howdy Connor. Christopher Klaus, good evening, lads. Was Christopher? I was drunk, fell asleep on the couch, woke up just in time for the Fury fight. We're going to get into it. I'm just going to say hello to a few people in there. Key McLean, Jake Paul is on PDs. So is quite a lot of people. Dylan White, Agenda. Addy, I'm here for you to call me out. I'm ready for this war. Okay. Don't worry, that's coming. Hyder Khan, good evening, everyone. Back to this. Back to that one I just put up. Dylan White Agenda is I think it's Femi on Twitter that thinks that Dylan White beats Tyson Fury. Not a chance in hell, but we'll talk about it. It's this one. In Bloom, evening, people. Again, I'm just gonna go through. Say hello to a few people. Nimble82, yes, bro. Luke, yo. Mark Osborne, evening, Ade. I've hardly slept. I only slept for about 3 hours, but it doesn't matter. Hassan Ahmed, where's CRB? Where is CRB? See, some people, yeah, I can take my licks. When AJ got licked, I can take it. I can take the licks. Some people run away. They can't take it. I thought Deontay Wilder was brave and was unlucky in that fight as well. I mean, he had Fury in big trouble in that 4th round. Another 15, 20 seconds. Jesus. Christopher Klaus, KOWNACKI, and AJAGBA got exposed. You could say that. I'll say they got beat by good boxers. I think Frank Sanchez and HELENIUS look really good. All right, should we get into it? Let me sit properly. Let's talk about this, people. Let's talk about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Let's talk about one of the best heavyweight fights I've seen in years. That, for me, eclipsed Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko. It was better. It was better because it was two guys that there was no give in that fight. Like, that fight had me on the edge of my seat throughout. Like, at any time, I thought Deontay Wilder could knock Tyson Fury out, and at any time, it looked like Deontay Wilder was going to get knocked out himself. That's what you want. There was no give. Whereas in the AJ Klitschko fight, if you can remember, there were parts in that fight where it got a bit slow. And he was like, okay, you know, both of them are knackered. Both of them yesterday, including Tyson Fury to an extent, were tired, but you couldn't take your eyes off it because anything could happen. Anything. Like the way in which Deontay Wilder put Tyson Fury down in the 4th round, almost from nowhere. And literally, it crushed Tyson Fury. Like, there's a slow-mo of it where it almost shows the force of that punch going all the way through Tyson Fury's body. And how Tyson Fury's power of recovery is incredible. Like, this guy gets hurt, gets up, and he's back to normal again. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Credit to Deontay Wilder. This is a guy that was going to go out on his shield. I'm not a fan of that, but that's just what it was going to be, right? He was going to either get knocked out or get left unconscious on the mat for minutes. And he wasn't having no corner stop it. He wasn't having a ref jump in. He was going to get knocked out. And credit to him. He tried, but in the end, he just got beat by a better man that outweighed him by 40 pounds. Think about that for a second. Someone outweighing you by 40 pounds. You know, some fights are cancelled because someone comes in overweight by 3 or 4 pounds. Like, that's an unfair advantage. 3 or 4 pounds is unfair. 40. 4-0. He tried. He was up against a guy that is the best heavyweight boxer of this generation, a guy that has a will to win like nothing we've seen before, and a guy that's just too good. So I think Deontay Wilder can hold his head high. It was a good performance, but Tyson Fury is just a special boxer. And I was on the Boxing Social podcast this morning, and I actually asked a question, like, when did Tyson become this guy? Like, I remember Tyson struggling against McDermott. I remember Tyson not looking great in some of his early fights. I mean, Steve Cunningham dropping him hard. You know what I mean? When did he become this guy that was just going to be the greatest heavyweight of this generation? When did that happen? I have no idea when it happened, but it's an incredible performance. It's his first title defense as well, so he's got that monkey off his back. People like myself were saying that he's never defended a title before, so you can't label him this and label him that. Well, he has now defended a title. He's incredible, and whoever he fights next, he will beat next. But that could be Dillian White, that can be Usyk, that can be whoever. He's gonna win, because he always seems to find a way to win. And he wasn't even at his best yesterday. He wasn't. He was sloppy. He didn't have that kind of herky-jerky head movement. But Jesus Christ, he can get the job done. He can get the job done. He had Deontay Wilder blowing out of his arse after the second round. After the second round, Deontay Wilder looked like this is all a bit too much for me. Tyson Fury is one scary heavyweight, boy. 6'9", has an engine. This is what people don't talk about Tyson Fury as well. Tyson Fury, of all the current heavyweights, is, I think, the heaviest at near 20 stone. But he has an engine of a man that's about 15 stone. Like, he never looks like he's getting tired. Like, Tyson Fury goes back to the corner and you rarely see him breathing heavily. It's almost like it just takes it in his stride. He can eat a punch as well. Towards the end, Deontay Wilder's landing big punches. Maybe not the same snap on them, but Deontay Wilder's landing them, and Tyson Fury's beginning to eat those punches. And then he fucking goes out raving after. Madness. All right, loads of comments coming in. We're going to try and go for it. Charlie Carpenter says, loved your documentary, Ade. You reckon that's one of the best nights of boxing, nearly 12 hours of quality boxing. That, for me, is one of the best nights. Obviously, look, we're a victim of now, aren't we? But I can't remember a night of boxing from Liverpool, that the card that DAZN put on, I thought was really good. I'm not saying that because I work for DAZN, but I just thought it was a really good card. Some good 50-50 scraps, and they proved to be some good fights on that card. And then you stay up, and then you get that card. I guess the only disappointing fight on that card was FA AJAGBA, Frank Sanchez. That was shit, wasn't it? FA AJAGBA was awful. Or was Frank Sanchez good? I don't know. I thought HELENIUS looked really good against KOWNACKI. Edgar Berlanga caused some problems. Julian Williams lost. I mean, there were some good fights on that card. It really was a great night of boxing. Boxing gives us a lot of shit, doesn't it? Gives us loads of shit. But yesterday, it started to make up for it with that card. More of that, please, boxing. More of that. Anthony Vander, Ade, you're a born commentator. I'm not that good, but I'll take it. I'll take it a lot. Good question here from Simone. What's next for Wilder? I think he's still top 3 heavy. Who I'm thinking that should mean who should he fight next? Yeah, is he top 3? Is he top 3? I mean, maybe, possibly, just because. Look, you got Fury number 1. You're going to have Usyk number 2. Is Wilder above AJ? It's a tough one, that. So it's. I mean, you can have a debate. I mean, they might be free equal. Wilder's got loads of options, loads of options. In America, you've got fights like Charles Martin, HELENIUS. Now we saw Frank Sanchez is there. Andy Ruiz is always going to be a big fight. Mexican American against African American. Those things always sell. Two former world champions looking to get back to the top. You can easily sell it. But it'd be interesting to see how he recovers now from two big beatings. Now, the good thing is, after the first beating with with Fury, there was a long gap. He can't afford to have another long gap, because if he does, he'll be 37. He's getting on a bit. So he's going to have to take 5 or 6 months out, then come back again. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what they do with Wilder. I would like to see him come back down in weight. I don't think he needs to be 238. He could lose at least 10 pounds and come down to 228. Doesn't need to be that heavy. Could even lose a bit more than that. But I still think there's a bit left. But again, those were two big beatings. Both fights against Fury, he took a lot of punishment, a lot. Like those round number 7, although there was no knockdowns, was a 10-8 round. That's the kind of beating he took. So I'm not quite sure. But if he wants to fight next, there certainly is a lot for him there out there. There's loads of heavyweights now, loads. Richard Anderson, boy, documentary was class, by the way. Thank you very much. Hyder, Radar, Fury beats Lennox. Even Fury said, let's not compare eras. How do you know that? I'll tell you this for a second. I'll tell you this now. Lennox Lewis isn't no Deontay Wilder. Lennox Lewis is no Anthony Joshua. Lennox Lewis is one of the best heavyweights of all time. So let's calm down a bit, eh? Stephen Macklin, what's your thoughts on Fury versus Usyk? Nobody gives him a chance. A bit like when he fought AJ. I think Usyk has everyone's number. I think it'll be tricky for Fury for the first 3 or 4 rounds. But one thing we asked AJ to do against Usyk was show him you're a heavyweight. Put your weight on him. Let him know. AJ was unable to do that. Fury will find a way of putting his weight onto Usyk. He done it against Wilder, and he'll do it against anyone. And Fury is near 20 stone. Usyk is 16. Once Fury gets in close and starts to lean and put his weight on Usyk, Usyk's legs that were always moving against AJ won't move the same against Tyson Fury. So Tyson Fury will beat Usyk just because of size. That sheer size will get the job done. Again, guys, we're talking, you can't give away 4 stone. Usyk will be giving away 4 stone. As good as Usyk is as a boxer, he isn't that better a boxer than Tyson Fury. I think we can all admit that. But Tyson Fury's 4 stone heavier. And I think we could all admit as well, Tyson Fury can hit. That's another thing no one's talking about. Tyson Fury can crack. Tyson Fury can take a punch, or even if he gets knocked down, we know he's going to get back up. He's got an engine, and he's 4 stone heavier than you. Usyk ain't beating Tyson Fury. No, sirree. William N. Hi, Addy. Been looking forward for you talking about Fury in the PFP. Good evening. Good evening, people. I can't explain how impressed I am with Tyson Fury, and I can't put it into words. He's incredible. But it always takes someone to bring out this incredible athlete in someone, right? I mean, you look at various sports. I'm a big tennis fan. Roger Federer is, I think, the greatest tennis player ever. I don't know if he would have been that if there was no Rafael Nadal. Like, Rafael Nadal brought that out in him. Ronaldo's taken Messi to new heights, right? You always sometimes need the yin and the yang. And I actually think that Deontay Wilder has made Tyson Fury better. Honestly, I do believe it. I think Deontay Wilder last night beats maybe every other heavyweight. I mean, that punch that he landed with, that punch that landed on Fury in the 4th round, I think no other heavyweight's getting up. None. So I think they work for each other. And I think in 20, 30 years' time, when we look back, we'll be talking about Wilder as well as we talk about Fury. It was a fantastic trilogy. It's a shame because it's a trilogy where Wilder didn't win any. Like, in my eyes, he lost all 3 fights, but boy, he brought entertainment to it. He really did. Ian Craig, how long did we have to wait for Wilder's ring walk? We waited ages, but it didn't matter in the end, did it? We did wait a long time, though. Laura Kavanagh, hi, Ade. Thanks for your commentary last night. Woke at 5 just in time for it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the love about the commentary. What's this one? Patrick Joseph says, David Haye, most deluded man in boxing. David Haye, I think, said that Wilder would win. Mate, he was nearly right. I mean, we can say he was deluded. He was nearly right. I mean, again, Tyson Fury got put on his ass twice. twice, and he was hurt from both because he normally just gets up straight away. No, he wanted the full 8 count. Tyson Fury was hurt from both, and if it wasn't, I think he had 20 seconds to survive round 4. If that round 4 was another minute long, everyone would be saying Deontay Wilder got it spot on, came in heavy, everything worked. Malik Scott's instructions worked. So David Haye wasn't that delusional. Close. David E says, they finished the sentence. There's only one Tyson Fury. One Tyson Fury. Walking along. No, I'm not going to go that far. Paul Taylor, super chat. Mitchell win was amazing, beating Courtney. Yes. Jamie Mitchell looked really good. You can tell that's someone that's had a lot of amateur fights. I think wasn't she number 1 in America way back in 2012, and she stayed within the top 3, top 4 in her weight division for a long time. And you could see that. She roughed up Shannon Courtney in there, and I didn't like. I like Shannon Courtney. I like her attitude. I don't mind the aggressive attitude, but I didn't like what she said after the fight. She was clearly angry, but she didn't win that fight. She didn't win that fight at all. And I think Jamie Mitchell handled herself in the win very humble, considering that Shannon Courtney's right next to her chatting shit. Ronan Harris says, how are things at a great documentary? Was a pleasure to watch. Thank you, everyone that's watched that. Thank you. Literally, I'm just going to go through all. What's this one? Jeffrey Merho. Nelson needs to give Wilder his respect because you people said Fury is number 1, unlike AJ, who give Prospect a belt. I don't quite fully understand what you're saying, but if you're saying that we need to show, or Johnny Nelson needs to show Wilder respect, I think everyone's giving Wilder respect now. Everyone. Wilder showed a lot of courage and a lot of heart. And aside from all of that, Wilder just showed that Wilder was close. Again, I know I'm repeating myself here, but Wilder had Fury out of there. So credit to Wilder, man. Credit. To go in there against a guy that has beaten you twice before. Let's not mix our words here. Fury won the first fight as well. He clearly won the second fight. For Wilder to go in there with a guy that is that good and be that close to getting rid of him, credit to him. Credit. Ben Odom, good evening, Ade. Good evening, brother. How are you? Hopefully you had, like me, a great night of boxing. What's this one? Dan the Man says, Eden Ade, great fight to watch, but in my opinion, both fighters looked far from their best. Good. Fury definitely wasn't at his best. Fury wasn't. I mean, there were so many conversations about Fury potentially partying in Vegas, and maybe, obviously, we know his wife had issues with the birth of their daughter, so his mind might have been elsewhere. So I don't think Fury was at his best, but I think Wilder was very good. Looked very strong. Was trying to jab to the body, landed so many different jabs to the body. Then when Fury caught him at the end of the first round, the red mist descended, and he thought, "Fuck it, let's have a go. Let's have a tear up." I loved Wilder's performance. I really did. Big super chat here from Kayode said, Ade, I disagree with you. That Fury performance yesterday was poorer than the second fight. That weight he put on made him slower. And that version of Fury and Wilder 2 yesterday loses to both AJ and Usyk. Absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. Nope. No way. No way. I'm sorry. You're talking to one of the biggest AJ fans out there. Me. That AJ. Okay, let's go on recent performances. The AJ we saw against Usyk is not beating that Fury, or I don't think that Wilder. I think Wilder will be too aggressive for him, far too aggressive, and Fury will just outbox him. He will. We need to see a different version of AJ for me to think that he beats both of those guys right now. Like, I'm telling you now, that punch, that Fury got put down with, I don't know if you guys have seen it in slow motion. It's fucking Wilder loads up everything, literally. And he as Fury's moving forward, the punch is going in, so it's double force. That punch, AJ's not getting up from. In fact, no other heavyweight's getting up from, apart from the man that rose up, that crazy man called Tyson Fury. No other heavyweight is getting up from that punch. Could Usyk have beaten that Wilder? Maybe, because Usyk will, move a bit. But man, those two yesterday, they were on a different type of mission. Nah, not for me. I love AJ, but no. Yusuf Super Chat here says, what an amazing fight. I'm proud of Wilder's performance. He did his best. Malik Scott did his job. Props to Fury. He's the best of his era. Yeah. And that's what it is. Fury is now the best of this era. AJ's had a good run. Wilder had a good run, right? So many defenses, maybe not against the elite opposition we want, but I'm never ever going to sleep on that Luis Ortiz fight, the first one, because I thought Luis Ortiz was ready and super sharp. He stopped him. But I think Fury, with those 3 wins against Wilder and that win against Klitschko, for me, he's the best heavyweight of this era by a bit of a distance as well. And he's doing it away from home. I don't know if that is part of it, but he is doing these wins. He's not doing, it's not like he's fighting in Manchester. He's fighting away from home. To go to Germany and beat Klitschko, to go to America and beat Wilder 3 times, that's saying something. Mark Smith says Wilder knocks AJ out in 8 rounds. Is that a fight anyone would still want to see? The AJ Wilder fight. I still think it's a huge fight. I really do. I don't know if it's the fight that will. Look, it's not what it was, obviously, but it's still a good fight. I do think there are now a lot of miles on the clock when it comes to Wilder. Again, it's not just the 2 or the 3 Fury fights. It's the Ortiz fight, the first one, that was quite difficult as well. I do think he needs to have a little break, not a long break, have a little break and just reassess a couple of things. Because, yeah, this macho thing of, maybe not taking a knee, maybe not letting the corner stop it when they should. He's taking big punches from a really big guy, big, strong guy in Fury. And I think they'll add up over the years. Andrew Bloor says, Eden Ade, enjoyed the stream. Wilder did great, but holds his hands too low. Fury getting hit a little too much, but great win nonetheless. Yeah, Fury got tagged a lot. Look, it wasn't Fury at his best yesterday. I mean, if you've watched Fury, like the Fury in the second fight was a lot better. Fury in fight against Vlad, a lot better. Fury in the fight against Chisora, a lot better. But hey, I mean, 20 months out of the ring is 20 months out of the ring. It's a long time for Fury, someone that likes to be a bit more active than that. I'm not trying to say he likes to be active because he doesn't. He's not like he's the kind of guy that fights every 2 or 3 months, but he needs to be a bit more active. He does. And I think that's why we saw quite a good Fury, or the best Fury, the second time round against Wilder, because after the first Wilder fight, remember he had the fight against Tom Schwartz, then he had a fight against Otto Volin, then he went into the Wilder fight. So he was definitely sharper. He looked a bit rusty. He looked a bit rusty yesterday. But again, that credit has to go to Wilder. Wilder looked like a guy that was possessed. Wilder was possessed yesterday. He looked as determined as it's ever been. AJ's done, says Spencer Mark. He's not done. AJ is not done at all. Not having that. Not having that at all. I think I might have missed a super chat. If I have, send it as a normal one, WM, so I can read it out. Apologies. I don't know why this screen, well, once you miss a few, it just doesn't let you go back and read them, which is a bit stupid. So apologies. I'll try and find them. Okay, I found a couple. Fury cannot something the best of an era based on beating one top 10 fighter in 6 years. It's laughable, bro. No. He didn't just beat one top 10 fighter. He beat an unbeaten fighter who was the WBC champion and had racked up like 10 defenses or something, or whatever, how many defenses of that WBC belt. So it counts. You can't just say that. Like you're allowed to skip the queue if you're going to fight number 1. So there's a thing, right? I mean, you're right. Fury could have fought number 5, 6, 4, 3. But if you're saying, okay, no, I don't want to fight them, just give me the number 1. Now, when Fury came off the armchair after beating Sefer Seferi and then Pianetta, you could have forgiven him to have maybe 3 or 4 more warm-ups. He's like, no, give me who's the number 1 in the division right now? Who is it? Everyone said it was Wilder. Give me Wilder then. Let me fight Wilder. That's what he did. He skipped the queue. He's like, fuck going through the queue. Give me the baddest man right now on the planet. Who is right now the baddest man on the planet? Everyone said, you know what? It's Wilder. Give me Wilder then. Do you know how much? Do you understand how gangster that is? Do you understand how gangster that is? It's ridiculous. Who's the hardest puncher out there right now? Oh, it's an American called Deontay Wilder. Give me him. No, but Fury, you've been out for nearly 3 years. I mean, you've been on cocaine, you've been drinking, you've only had a couple of warm-up fights. Give me him. Okay. And he beat him. So you can skip the queue. You can skip it. You can skip it. What are we thinking that Tyson Fury wouldn't be able to beat? Okay, well, let's have a conversation, Coda. Are we thinking that Tyson Fury wouldn't be able to beat guys in the top 10? Like, is that what we think? Do you think for some reason that Tyson Fury won't be able to beat a Joseph Parker? Do you think that wouldn't, like, or he won't beat Dillian White? I'm telling you now, he'll beat these guys up. So yes, would I like to see him do it? Of course. But don't think he can't do it. He can do it, and he'll do it comfortably. Comfortably. Junior the Hunter says, respect to Wilder. When Fury's career is over, his two most difficult fights of his career may be not against Klitschko, Joshua, or Usyk, but Wilder. Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's more fear with Wilder as well. You genuinely think you're going to get hurt if Wilder punches you. There's a fear there with Wilder. It's not the same kind of fear with the other guys. Joshua can punch. I think we all know Joshua can crack, but he certainly can't crack like Wilder can crack. And Usyk is more embarrassing, like, or embarrass you. There's a genuine fear. I was watching it. You guys were seeing me commentate yesterday. I was on edge thinking, if Wilder hits Fury, there's the scary factor with Wilder. And man done him. Man done him. Just like that. Dan the Man says, Ade, beating Wilder doesn't mean you can beat everyone else. Styles make fights. So you can fight. You can't just give Fury a hypothetical CV and then call him the best. It doesn't work like that. Guys, it does work like that, though, sometimes. It does work like that. Like that. And this isn't just a case of what it's like. You go sometimes, like, you beat the man that's the man in the division. That makes you the man in the division. So I don't agree with it, but you can't fight everyone. You beat the man that's the man in the division, and that makes you the man in the division. And not only that, but I think sometimes, and I agree with you, styles make fights. What Fury's got different styles. You're not talking. This is Fury's thing. Isn't just now that he is a slick boxer, because that's kind of what Fury was, right? We used to kind of describe Fury as a bit of a slick boxer. And then when he said he's going to go toe to toe with Wilder in the second fight, let's be brutally honest, we all laughed. Sure, he's going to go toe to toe. Like the narrative was Fury point, Wilder stoppage. Am I correct? Fury then showed us another style by being the aggressor, the bully, the inside fighter, the guy with the dirty boxing tricks, so-called the dark arts of boxing. Fury has showed us now 4 or 5 different styles of fighting. So when you say styles make fights, I 100% agree with you, Dan the Man. I'm telling you now, Fury has a style to fight all these guys. He has a style. Again, he can outbox you. He can be on the back foot. We've seen that. We've seen it. He can go aggressive, toe-to-toe with you. He can go inside and be a bit dirty, elbow. It does everything. Anything to win. Anything to win this guy has. He's a madman. Fury's a madman. But I understand what you're all saying. Trust me. Clement, Ade, don't be so sure that Tyson Fury will run through Usyk. No. He certainly won't run through Usyk. I didn't say that. Usyk has a fast pace. 2, Usyk can box. 3, Usyk will not allow Tyson to lean on him. Usyk has fast legs. He will move back. It's not a case of allowing Fury to lean on you. It just happens. When you're in the clinch, and we saw it with AJ actually, but AJ for some reason decided to remove himself from the clinch when he fought Usyk. But when you're in the clinch and someone just puts a bit of weight on you. So in the first round, he was doing it against Wilder. He put a bit of weight. Referee broke it up. Second round, he done a bit more. It's that accumulation of those little leaning on you time and time again, and your legs will just sap. Your legs will eventually just sap. And again, we're not talking about a stone difference between Usyk and Fury. We're talking about 4 stone. 4 stone difference against someone that can, as you say, has fast pace. Tyson Fury has fast pace. I think we saw that yesterday. We saw it in the second Wilder fight. He has fast pace. Someone who can box, you say. Tyson Fury, we know, can box. But they're just 4 stone difference. 4 stone. A very good big man will be a very good small man. And Usyk is a very good big man. Usyk is a very good small man. Tyson Fury is a very good big man. So I would always bet on Tyson Fury. Guys, you know how many times I've bet against Tyson Fury and I've been proven wrong? My days of betting against Tyson Fury are gone. They're gone. I don't do it anymore. I do not doing it. Jake Jansen says, you're doing one-on-one tonight, Addy. What's one-on-one? Do you mean as in getting people on? I might do that, you know. I might do that. Guys, I might send out a link to invite a few of you on in a minute. Might send out a link. I just saw something here from Base the Kid. Remember, guys, Base the Kid has got his own YouTube channel now. Go over and have a look. There's 1,300 of you in here. If 1,300 of you go and check out Base's YouTube channel after this, he'll grow to 1,300 subscribers. Simply Ballin says, what will these detractors say when Tyson Fury becomes the undisputed world heavyweight champ? Laughing out loud. You know what it is about Tyson Fury as well sometimes? I think that's a bit why we judge him quite differently. I don't know if it's because he's not, sometimes his work's not pretty. He's not got a beautiful body. Like, so his work's a bit messy, isn't it? It's a bit messy. It looks all over the place sometimes. It's a bit horrible. It's nasty. It's not clean. Like, you're not watching him and you're not thinking you're watching a Usyk or a Lomachenko or, or even a Luis Ortiz. It's not slick, but it gets the job done. That's the thing with Tyson Fury. And it's taken me a long time to get my mind sort of changed about my view of him. I used to look at him like that. I used to look at him and think, this fucking overweight. Look at him. He's not an athlete. I used to laugh at him. And then when he used to fight, do you remember there was one clip years ago where he kind of uppercutted himself? Do you remember that? So I used to look at him thinking, this guy ain't shit. I've changed my opinion. It's taken a long time for me to change my opinion. I've changed my opinion. But I still think some people have that opinion of him. I think, when he takes his clothes off and he goes on the scale, you think, oh, come on, this is a disgrace. It doesn't, none of that matters. None, the biggest thing that he has, the biggest skill, I think Tyson Fury has, is his will to win. He has a will to win like none other. He came out, so bear in mind, Wilder's put him down twice in the 4th round. He came out and controlled the pace of the 5th. Again, it's just, he's got a very good boxing brain, very good IQ, very, very good. He's a very good boxer, peeps. Do I think it will be easy work for Fury against Usyk or even Fury against AJ? No, but do I think he'll get the job done? Yes, I do. I do. The entwined destinies of both men created a mythic boxing story for the modern era. Oh, I love that. Bloody hell, Max. Do you write books or something? That's proper. That is. That is proper. Oh, guys, you're telling me I'm missing super chats, and I hate missing super chats. Sorry. I do apologize. WM says, imagine if White lands one of his left hooks from hell and sleeps Fury. That's how quickly the heavyweight landscape can change. You know what's scary about that statement? I thought the same thing about Otto Wallin, Dillian White. Otto Wallin being a southpaw, I was thinking, imagine Otto Wallin just ruins Dillian White's world heavyweight championship dream. That's a tough, tough fight now. Like, that's almost a banana skin that you shouldn't be having. Like, the Dillian White's world title was there. He's got an opportunity. It's there. The WBC have mandated it. Unless Usyk and that gets involved as an undisputed, Dillian White's rolling the dice. He really is rolling the dice. 2 secs. So many questions. Guys, sorry. Let's get in. Naeem Islam says, a very good big man analogy doesn't always work. AJ is a very good big man and Usyk is a very good small man, but beat him. No. Usyk is a great small man. AJ is a good big man. In that analogy, they're different. They're different. Usyk is a great, great big man. AJ is a very good. So Usyk is a great, great small man. Well, not even small. He's 16 stone. And AJ is a good big man. Like, in terms of boxing ability, I'm talking here. In terms of boxing ability, when it comes to Usyk and Fury, there isn't a gap in boxing ability as there was with AJ. For example, okay, like, I think everyone was saying before, like, AJ can't stand and have a boxing match with Usyk. It's suicide. You wouldn't say that with Fury doing it. You would say that Fury can actually have a boxing match with Usyk. I'm not saying Fury's a better boxer than Usyk, but you would be like, you'd be okay watching it. You'd be like, okay, Fury's having a boxing match. That's because Fury is such a good boxer. And then Fury's still got that, plus he's got the size element, plus we know he's got a bit of punch power now. So Fury brings a lot more to the table, I think. Flizzy saying Fury still ain't a knockout artist, in my opinion. I That's a tough one because he's knocked Wilder down and knocked him out. No one else has ever done that, by the way, knocked him out. He's put him down in the second fight they had and got that stopped. He's not a one-punch concussive knockout. I mean, he's not, Dillian White, AJ Wilder, but there's clearly knockout power there. There clearly is. 2-6. Fury doesn't stop Wilder. He knocked him out, Ade. I don't understand that. I honestly think Wilder's team should have thrown in the towel. He was hurt bad. It was interesting. After round 7, where I think many people scored at 10-8 Fury, although there was no knockdowns, that's how bad the beating was. You're going back and thinking Malik Scott should stop this. He probably should. But Wilder kept on the last kind of 10, 15 seconds of a couple of rounds, Wilder kind of showed just enough to kind of keep in there. But yeah, I think if he got pulled out after round 7, no shame in it, but it was never going to happen, especially considering all the stuff he said about his former trainer pulling him out and throwing the towel in. So it was never going to happen, which is a shame. Guys, can you smash the like button, please, if you're in the stream? What's this one? Andy C77 said Tyson is a traveler. He fights the traveler style, puts all his weight on you and grinds you down. I don't necessarily know about the traveler style of fighting, but that last line about grind you down is correct. That's what he does. He just grinds you down. Ryan B says Usyk's ring IQ wins. Guys, stop this. Can go back and watch Usyk against Bradis, please, or even Usyk against Michael Hunter. Usyk's such a good boxer, but the narrative that Usyk's IQ is just through the chain is a bit we need to calm down a bit on that. He's good, but I mean, I've seen him in tough fights, and again, do you know the size? Have you guys seen Tyson? Have you guys been up close person with Tyson Fury before? Because I'm fortunate. I've been up close in person with Tyson Fury and with Usyk. I can't. One's 6'2", one's like 6'9". One's 16 stone, one's 20 stone, and that's on a weight cut. Size counts for something. It counts for something. If I've missed Finbar White and WM super chats, please just send them in as normal questions so I can read them out. Please don't do them as super chats. I will see it in a normal question, and I promise I'll read it out. Darren Price said, Hay said Tyson didn't look in shape and said Adonis Wilder was fitter. Looks don't mean shit. No, looks don't. I guess if you're Hay, though, it does, because Hay, obviously, throughout his career, the thing about Hay was obviously looking like he's in real good shape. So I guess that's his mindset, right? That you need to come in looking that shape. Liam Davis, Eddie looks sad in Liverpool while Frank's in Vegas with Fury under the bright lights. I don't think Eddie was sad. I think that Liverpool card was a fantastic card. I think it was a good one. It was a real good card, that, in fact. All right. Finbar, where is your question? Let me see if I can find it. Ade, hopefully third time lucky. What do you think of Wilder refusing to shake Tyson's hand at the end of the fight? Good question. I didn't like it at the time. I didn't like it at all. I was like, you know, the funny thing is about those two, by the way, in the lead, I don't know if you guys ever remember the first time they had that altercation. Do you remember that first time? Fury had beaten Klitschko. I think Wilder had beaten, it might have been Spilka. And Fury climbed over the ropes and they had that little altercation. So this stems back about 5-6 years, maybe even a bit longer. But every time we've seen them, even in the first fight, or in the lead up to the first fight, when Wilder went to Ireland, do you remember that? And it was fun. It was jovial. They were joking, laughing. In the build up to the first fight, they're in each other's changing room. Do you guys remember that? So it's been, the reason I say this is that it's been nice. The build up's been quite jovial between the two. It turned very, very dark after that second fight. Very dark. Do you remember even in the ring after the first fight when it was a draw, they both kind of, embraced. It was a bit of a smile. They're okay with it. After the second fight, it turned really, really dark because Wilder was adamant that Fury had cheated. And since then, it's just been. I hope that in years to come they can make up and they can, you know, have a chat and go and sort this out, because after a fight like that, a fight where they brought out the best in both of each other, you want there to be a mutual respect. It's difficult when you've just been knocked out, right? You've been knocked out by someone that you no longer like, by someone that you think's been cheating, and that person then comes up to you and tries to shake your hand. That's going to be difficult. But I hope in time Wilder can get the peace he needs and kind of, it doesn't even have to be in the public domain. They have a little private conversation, or someone brings them together. I'm sure they're going to have mutual friends, like Sugar Hill Stewart and Malik Scott are like that. They're that close, and I'm sure those two trainers can bring them closer together, because it was nice between them two before, and all of a sudden it's turned really, really horrible. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, man. But that's a good question, because I saw it and I was like, come on, Wilder. And not only that, but Wilder was almost telling Fury to go away, telling him to go away. Fury, who just won, beat you, came over just to make sure you're okay, check up on you, say hello, blah, blah, blah. And Wilder just wasn't having it. Messed up. Shame. Bright says it's way too early to say Fury is the way of generation. Way of generation. We should judge it on the bar. Ali, Mike, Lennox set. Styles make fights. And until Fury fight them all, we will not know. Fury's not going to fight them all. He isn't going to fight them all. To be fair, Fury's next fight should be, fingers crossed, Dillian White. Dillian White for me is a top 6 heavyweight. So that will go some way. Like I said this today as well, actually, on the Boxing Social podcast. Go and check it out. Myself, Rob Tem, and a couple of others. I said we're in a situation now where if you're Tyson Fury, you start getting or racking in those kind of B-level wins. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's had a couple of really high A-level wins in Klitschko and Wilder. Then it's a massive drop-off to like C and D wins. There's a chunk now of good, what I would call B-level fighters. So not the top of the tree, but guys that are just about, between maybe 6 and 15. This is the time where if you're Tyson Fury, you have those guys back to back until another big contender emerges, whether that be Usyk or AJ or some. You start having those of those. There's Hergovich is out there. Joe Joyce is out there. Obviously, Dillian White's coming up, and I put Dillian White just above B, by the way. Who else? Andy Ruiz is there. There's loads of guys. Tony Yoka with a couple more wins might be in that bracket. There's a chance now to really, really stack your resume. So when we do look back and we have that debate, oh, Tyson Fury, is he better than Lennox? Is he better than Evander? We can say, okay, but look at the body of work. His body of work's really thick, because right now I'm with you. It's a bit thin. It is a bit thin. What's this? I'm going to read it out just because it's not true, but I'll give everyone their time. AJ is the same level as Fraudy Harrison. AJ fanboys need to wake up. It's a bit harsh on Harrison, but okay. I'm not going to argue with you. What's this one? Lovesick 831. Wilder's emotions are so hurt right now, hence he never wanted to shake Tyson's hands. Also, Tyson was really horrible in his pre-fight remarks. Tyson showed no respect, but now he wants to talk about it. Come on, guys, man. You got to sell the fight. Tyson, look, you're going to go in there and fight. You're fighting the man. All this, let's show respect before the fight. You're fighting. If you're Tyson, and I don't know about all these allegations Deontay Wilder's labeled. Like, we're not there. I'm not privy to any of what's going on behind the scenes. But if you're Tyson, you've beaten Deontay Wilder the second time round, and all Deontay Wilder's done has destroyed you, like made excuses, said you've cheated, you've done this, you've done that. Why would you show someone respect in the pre-fight build-up that's basically destroyed your character for the best part of a year? But then after you have a fight, you win, and it's man oh man then to shake his hand. I don't know, man. I don't know. Big super chat here from Ben Odom. It says, much respect for Wilder, a real warrior, but he's 35. No second win. Time for him to leave the game the right way. They both took horrendous punches yesterday. I hope they both will be okay in years to come. Congrats, Fury. Enjoying the Sunday chat. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ben. I think mentally that beating's going to be very, very difficult for Wilder to take. Very, very difficult. The beating he took in the second fight was easy to take. And people might say, what? It was easy because of the excuses he made. So it's a case of he, after the second fight, beaten, took it and said, you know, I lost because of my trainer. I lost because of Tyson Fury had sunk in his gloves. I lost because of the weight of the jacket. I lost because of Tyson Fury taking performance enhancing drugs. I lost because of this and that. There were so many excuses. There are none. This time round, there are none. And that's going to be difficult mentally. Remember, this is a guy that's iced everyone he's fought before, iced everyone. So he's been walking around like he's a god of boxing. And now he went in there and got knocked out. That's mentally quite difficult for him to get over. So I think there might be a bit of mental rebuilding. But like Ben says, he's 35. He's 35 now. Not sure. I will say this though. You could still put him in with a few fighters that he would ice. And people will then start saying he's back. Like put him in with Charles Martin right now. Ices him. So there are fighters out there for him to have a go at. But I'm with you. KA717 says, do you agree that Fury is a generational fighter and he could possibly step into any era and be a champion? Potentially. You know, I remember like obviously I'm not at the age where I remember George Foreman. Like, I don't remember him fighting, but you go back and watch tapes. And I remember George Foreman being considered a monster of a heavyweight. Like the size of Foreman is incredible. Do you know how much bigger Fury is than that? Like Fury would have almost, if Fury was to have been fighting in the era of the Alis, the Ken Nortons, the Cleveland Williams, all the Joe Frazers, George Foreman, they would have looked at Fury like a fucking circus act. But he can move. So, you know, like you get big fighters back in the day, like that were very just slow, like Valuev. Fury's a big, big guy that can move. So I'm not going to sit here now and tell you that he beats those guys from that era, but I will say this, he will cause them all problems just because of his sheer size. His size is a big, big problem. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the people, the likes of Muhammad Ali had skills to pay the bills. Do you know what I mean? Ernie Shavers, like really good fighters, hard hitting punchers. But Tyson Fury's size will cause them problems. Again, George Foreman was considered a monster. George Foreman considered a monster at what is he, 6'4" at his peak, 6'4", 6'5". Tyson's 6'9". It's a big guy. Big guy. Good question, though, by the way. Mark Smith, after that second loss, Wilder has some demons he needs to take care of. Terrible sportsmanship, and he's still in denial. Yeah, he definitely has some demons. I don't know. I don't know if you can. I think the only like good thing that Wilder can take from it is that he lost to Fury. Do you know what I mean? So he's lost to what we all consider now, and I think we all consider it to be the number one heavyweight in the world. That's who he's lost to. He's not lost to a number 5 or a number 6. Like when AJ lost to Ruiz the first time round, it was like, oh my God, you've lost to a guy that's not even at the time considered a top 10 fighter. Like Wilder's lost to the guy that everyone considers to be the best heavyweight on the planet. A guy that I know they don't normally chuck heavyweights in the pound for pound discussion, but if they did, he's lost to a pound for pounder. So that's the only thing he can take from it that will hopefully heal the wounds a lot better. Joe says White is not a top 6 heavyweight for me. He is. White is a top 6 heavyweight. That, like, I mean, you know what it is? I can understand why you might say he isn't, because I think a lot of people will put the likes of Hrgovic and Joe Joyce in that now. So I think people would have AJ, Fury, Wilder, Usyk, Joyce, Hrgovic. And I get that, but I would have Dylan White above Hrgovic and Joyce just because of the resume and like who he's beat, as opposed to who, like what's the best Hrgovic? What's the best name Hrgovic has got on the resume? The best name Joe Joyce has got on the resume is Carlos Takam. Or I don't know, maybe Dubois Takam. Like, thing he's got better wins on his resume than that. Ayat says Michael Hunter really messed up going to Triller. Barely hear about him now. Yeah. 786 Naf says yesterday I witnessed one of the greatest fights ever where I seen unbelievable courage, heart, blood, sweat, and tears. Congratulations to Jason Cunningham on his victory over Brad Foster. We'll talk about that. You got me. Yeah, got me. Steve McKenna. Wilder probably made lots of fans after that fight and then acted like a nipple and lost more fans than he gained. Yeah, it's strange. I still think he's gained a lot of fans. I think people can kind of understand the not wanting to shake hands after a fight. I mean, it's real blood, real beef between those two. And that shows that it wasn't like we always talk about we hate WWE type beef, right? That was you can see it was real animosity from Wilder's standpoint. He genuinely does not like Tyson Fury. And I guess it would be a bit weird to genuinely not like someone, get beat by them, and then shake their hands. Yeah, like that would never happen in a street fight, would it? Do you know what I mean? 2 6. Scottish John. Hey, hi Ade. Damn, Mr. Star. Love to see you killing it, bro. Followed you since Boxing Talk days, and you're an example of where hard work and dedication gets you. Really always appreciate those kind of messages. I keep taking them. Love them. Appreciate them a lot. Thank you very much. Milfy Swinbuckle. If Wilder had have won, what do you think he'd say about all those daft cheating accusations he made? He might have claimed he did them as mind games to unsettle Fury. No, no, no. If Wilder had won, I think he would have carried on the Wild Fury cheated. He'd have said, look, he's no longer cheating. That's why I've won. I think he would have said all those things. He thinks Fury is a cheat, people, and no one's going to change his mind. He thinks Fury has something in his gloves. That's why he has the dent in his head. Malik Scott thinks Fury has something in his gloves. He thinks his drink was tampered, and he definitely believes, and he's got a right to believe that, bar the wild boar meat thing. That I mean, people don't like to talk about it, but that's fact. That wild boar meat story is bogus, absolute bogus. All the other stuff, I don't believe any of it, but the wild boar meat's fact. Clement says, Ade, I will go and watch Usyk versus Bradis, but promise me you rewatch Fury Wallin. Yeah, no, you're right. Otto Wallin did cause Fury some problems. You're very right. Oh, it's more loads of questions coming in. Oh, what's this one? JR Road Tip says, hey, Ade, considering the crazy nearly 2 years of COVID and lockdowns, boxing has really delivered some amazing fights. Boxing, this sport that frustrates us at the best of times, delivered yesterday. Yeah, it delivered yesterday, big time. Like, and by the way, massive shout out to that card they put on. Massive shout out. Like, that was a very good cast. Like HELENIUS, KOWNACKI, AJAGBA, Sanchez, which didn't deliver, but was a good card. It was great to see Edgar Berlanga get put on his ass and then get up back up. J-Rock, unfortunately, losing. And then obviously the main event. That was a very good card. You don't normally get those kind of cards. That was pretty much stacked from top to bottom, that card. 2 secs. Liam Stevenson says, what a fight that was. Whether you like Wilder or not, he can't half fight. Do you think this was better than AJ Klitschko? Yeah, for me it was. I liked, obviously, AJ Klitschko was just incredible, right? I mean, Adam Smith summed it up so well at the end when he said, lift off, AJ. And it wasn't just lift off AJ, it was like lift off for British boxing. But I couldn't blink yesterday. Like, at any time, I don't know about you, but as much as Fury was in control, at any time I thought Wilder's going to knock him out. It had that like element of danger the whole fight, and I don't think Klitschko AJ had it all like that. Good fight between Klitschko and AJ, but it was, you know what it is? As much as I love a bit of respect in the build up to a fight, like I love a bit of respect, nothing better than a bit of needle, is there? Nothing better than a bit of needle. AJ Klitschko was so respectful, hence why they're still good friends. So respectful. Fury Wilder was just hatred. I don't mind that. It's a bit harsh, but I don't mind that. And the fight lived up to it. Wilder's costume was a bit better this time. Fury came out like a Spartan. Man, it was fucking amazing. Jordan Brennan says, Ade, what did you make of Wilder delaying his ring walk? I think them things are useless against Fury. It's all useless against Fury. Fury is one of the most relaxed boxers. I used to think it was a show. I love a doctor. Do you remember? I don't know if you guys remember Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston. and Muhammad Ali screaming at Sonny Liston, but then the story is that the doctor put like a heart monitor on or whatever, and like literally Muhammad Ali was basically pretending he was shitting himself, but he was doing it as a bit of a facade. I always used to think that Fury and all those little antics he does when the camera's on him and he's in the change room and he's smiling and waving and blowing kisses, I used to think it was just a show. It isn't. I actually believe that this guy is just so relaxed before war. It's incredible. So you could delay him for about an hour and he will literally just put his slippers up, get a paper out, put a cigar and relax. He is so relaxed in the lead up to a big fight. And he doesn't let all the mental warfare get to him. He is a very cool customer, people. Very cool customer. Bump of K says, when are you idiots going to understand Fury raises his game? I think that's supposed to be game for hard fights. Yeah, he does. He does. He really does. All right, let's see. I'm trying to see. Tony Collins, Wilder, one trick pony. As for anyone saying Fury cheated, go lay down in a dark room and wipe your tears. Fury showed Wilder who is boss. Yeah, and there's a couple of things I don't like there, but the one trick pony thing, you're right. Although he did try and do that body jab, which was very strange. He tried a lot. I think he landed. I think I counted something like 20 body jabs in the first round. But then Fury clipped him, at the end of this first round, and then Wilder just reverted back to type. But that type, so is a one trick pony, but that one trick is a good trick. It's a very good trick. KZ says, hey, Ade, how far do you think Frank Sanchez can go after beating AJAGBA last night? I'd like to see him in with someone like Andrew Ruiz. Guys, get your questions in. I'm just literally going to read as many questions as possible. And get your questions in as well about the fight card in Liverpool. Great fight between Williamson and Cheeseman and Liam Smith, Anthony Fowler. And then we're going to talk a bit of movie talk because I went to go and see James Bond the other day and I've got my opinions on it. So get many questions in. We've been going for about an hour. Let's go for about another 45 minutes. KZ, how far can Frank Sanchez go? Far. Very far. He's a good fighter, isn't he? He's good sitting on the ropes. So clearly that shows that he's a good counter puncher, got good defense. Although I thought AJAGBA was not, I don't like to use the word exposed, but showed that he has limitations. AJAGBA wasn't aggressive enough, and I'd like to see Frank Sanchez take that step up. I would like to see him in. I wouldn't mind HELENIUS, I know maybe because HELENIUS just springs to mind because he saw him fight recently. I don't think they will ever put him with Andy Ruiz because it's the same camp. I don't know if you know that, but Frank Sanchez is part of that Canelo camp as well. So that fight would never happen unless one of them leaves. So, he's been part of the Canelo camp, but he's still part of it really, but just not as frequent as Canelo and the rest of them. But yeah, so they're never going to fight. But yeah, HELENIUS is a good one. I'm still shocked by HELENIUS's win about over KOWNACKI, by the way. I think that was a really good performance. No one's talking about it. Really good performance. Listen to Nana, please, if you can, all of you. Interesting from here. Soccer Dad's Forum. If AJ had the right advisors, he would have snatched Sugar Hill before Fury. Just imagine where it'd be now. Sugar Hill really, like, I don't listen to corner advice that much in between fights, mainly because I'm just always talking. But watching the fight back again, Sugar Hill's corner work was fantastic. It really was. And to be fair, and so was Malik Scott's. Malik Scott's was good as well. Now, I don't know how much that plays a part in the fight, but it was very reminiscent of the late, great Emmanuel Stewart, when I remember every time Klitschko used to fight and he used to really put it on Klitschko, like, go out there and just get the knockout. Like, if you go back to what Rob McCracken was saying to AJ, it was like, you're doing well, you're jabbing. Sometimes you just got to put it on your fighters and tell them. And I think Sugar Hill's got that. Good trainer. Very, very good trainer. And very good choice. Like, everyone was kind of questioning, what's Tyson Fury doing leaving Ben Davison after that good performance against Wilder the first time round? And look what he's done. Since then, he's become more aggressive and he's good. That boxing guy says, I think that Wilder's weight wasn't an issue I thought he was taking punches better, stronger in the clinches, and was so strong. Hits like a train. Still think he beats AJ and Usyk. All right, the weight, you're right. The weight helped him absorb the punches, but he definitely got tired very, very quick because of that extra weight. Wilder was shattered after the second round. Shattered after the second round. And that was because of the weight. But you're right, the weight definitely helped him absorb the punches. I would like to see him come in a bit lighter. The first time he fought Fury, he came in at 213 pounds. That's maybe a bit too light, but anywhere around the 225, 238 is too heavy. Because what Wilder, if you go and watch all of Wilder's fights, Wilder closes the gap and the distance so quick. Wilder's here, then he's here. Against Fury, his feet were a bit slower just because he's carrying that bulk. 17 stone is far too big for Wilder. Far too big. V-Man says, great night of boxing. Smith and Fowler was a good one, and Fury was amazing. Massive AJ fan, but Fury isn't getting beat by anyone, in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, I'm with you. Again, you know, I'm bloody Mr. AJ, but I think we have to see something different from AJ to think that he's got a chance against Tyson Fury. But as a lot of people have said, styles make fights. Although I do think Fury has a number of different styles to cause him problems. As for the Smith-Fowler fight, I enjoyed it. I thought Fowler was doing well. I think the first round was almost perfection from Fowler, but there are levels to fights, and the best fighters make adjustments and show you different looks. And Liam Smith just made a couple of adjustments, showed him a couple of different looks, kept leaning to the left, and then in the end, just got the job done and got the job done well. There was a lot of pressure on Smith going into that fight. I mean, that would have been that. If Smith would have lost to Fowler, age 33, losing to a domestic, I can't even say rival, opponent, then it's a long way back, but he got the job done. So well done to Liam Smith. Well done indeed. A guy called Henry, who done my documentary. Guys, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out on the YouTube channel. It was done by this man who suggested it as well. He reached out to me and suggested it, and it was good. Yo, yes, bro, still going with negative sleep. I keep going. I will sleep when I get home tonight. Yes, in the answer to this question from K. McLean, do you think Fury will fight White if he beats Volin? Yes, I do. The WBC have mandated it, so I do think it will happen. The only way it doesn't happen is if the negotiations for the rematch between Usyk and AJ fall apart, and then Usyk and Fury have an undisputed. I don't think it's weird. Like, although that's an undisputed, I don't think there's a lot of people calling for it. Like, I was looking at the comment section on social media yesterday, and no one was screaming, "Oh, we need to see an undisputed between Usyk and Fury." Not many people were doing it. In fact, I think people were more interested in the White fight than the undisputed fight with Usyk, which I thought was strange. I do and think it would be nice to see Tyson Fury have a homecoming fight. Like, when was the last time Tyson Fury actually fought in the UK? It's been a long time. So it'd be nice to see him have a homecoming fight. And I think him versus Dillian White could sell out a really big stadium over here. Like Old Trafford. I think it will sell out Old Trafford. White will sell the fight, we know, and Tyson Fury will. So it'd be nice to see him have that homecoming fight against Tyson Fury. Sorry, against Dillian White. Max says, a nice pack picture, Ade. Rest in peace. Yeah, it's a nice pack picture. Someone in Scotland done these for me for cheap. Really good. I got this one done as well. It's this one. Biggie. You see that properly? Pretty cool, that, isn't it? Yeah. Someone done that. I've got to put them up. I've got to put them up. When the studio, when I can get time to come in and hang all these photos. I've got so many photo frames all over the place. I've got like a couple of movie ones. I got like Jaws, Terminator, Warriors, Pulp Fiction, Godfather frames going up. So I've got quite a few bits to do here. Will Dogan says, I want to see the undisputed above all else. I think I'd rather see Fury White. I think I'd rather see Fury. I want Dillian White to get his opportunity. I don't think Dillian Whyte beats Tyson Fury, but I want to see Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. I think the build-up will be interesting. That boxing guy says, only been here 10 minutes. Have we already spoke about Troy Williamson's incredible performance? What a knockout. On a side note, I'd love to see Fowler versus Cheeseman. I do not want to see Cheeseman fight again for a while. Cheeseman's had 5 fights now, I think. Tough fights back to back. He's had the Garcia fight. Who else has he fought? Sam Eggington, Conway, JJ Metcalf, and Troy Williamson. Nah, for me, I want to see him out of the ring for about 8-9 months. 8-9 months, chill out, rest up, go on a holiday. Hopefully he's made some good money recently and just relax for a bit and then reassess. He's only, what, 25, 26? Completely reassess, because even in the wins, he's taken a severe amount of damage. It's not a case of his wins have come from just 1 round KOs. He's taken a lot of damage. So I don't even want to see him fight for now, for a long time. As for Troy Williamson, what a fantastic performance. I mean, he beat Kieran Smith, who was unbeaten before. And this is a big step up. The 154-pound division in this country is very, very stacked. And he's put himself right at, not the, I don't want to say the top of it, because I don't think he's the best 154-pounder, but he's definitely in the top 3 or 4. And he's going to be in some good fights. Well done, Troy Williamson, 30 years old. Solid performance, really solid performance. Super chat here from Sam. So, I like AJ, but both Fury and Wilder got more heart, better mentality than AJ. I said from the Pinetta fight that Fury beat Wilder, both Wilder and AJ. I don't know about that statement about both have got more heart. I get it, because you're afraid. Yeah, I mean, look, I think AJ would have watched that fight yesterday, and I think he's going to be now more determined to kind of prove the detractors wrong, including myself, because I think AJ needs to do a lot to get that fight against Usyk overturned. To get it, he's got to do a lot, and there's going to be a lot of tough decisions being made in that AJ camp. There has to be. One has to be made about the trainer as well. One has to be made about the trainer. I get, and some people say, oh yeah, but he's a good trainer. I get that, but sometimes you just need another voice in the corner. You need another voice in the corner. Yeah, we'll see. Leave the bald guy. Thank you for the super chat. Lee says, White looks great against people who stand in front of him. That will not be Volin. Volin is a dark horse. I tip Volin to win both fights. Both fights? Interesting. I think it's close, you know. Dillian Whyte versus Otto Volin is close. I'm working on that fight, which is good. You've got to give... Whyte is definitely favorite, but it's like 60-40. Like, Volin is such a live underdog in this fight. It's crazy. Live underdog. Jack Sharp, Troy is a deadly puncher. Yes, he is. When he knows you're hurt, Troy Williamson, he got his second wind in that fight. Like, Troy was winning the first half of the fight. Cheeseman came back, I think, around rounds 5 to 7. And then Troy came again. And then Cheeseman had nothing to offer. Bad knockout. You know, when you get that was like the George Groves ones, when you sit back on your leg. Like, he collapsed underneath himself. Very bad knockout. Blair Franklin, loads of questions coming in, guys. Thank you very much. This is fun. Blair Franklin says Usyk will probably beat AJ. Then I want Fury Usyk. Wilder should take time to rest. That's what your trainer said. If White wins his next fight, I think he should be #1 mandatory. Nah. White needs no. If White beats Otto Volin, White just has to fight Fury next. Like, there has to be some, like, you put yourself in mandatory positions for a reason. There has to be some sort of trajectory, something to aim for. White can't have been in this position for this long without fighting for a world title. He can't. Like, White deserves his shot. As much as Usyk versus Fury is a big fight, White versus Fury is a big fight as well. And I think White deserves his shot if he can get past Otto Volin. Anthony Richardson, I see Volin lighting up White like he did Brazil. A lot of people are going for Otto Volin here. Loads, I think more are going for Otto Volin than are going for Dillian Whyte. Surprising. Super chat from Callum Prout, no question. Callum, get your question in, but don't send it as a super chat. I'll find it. Just send it in the comment section. SB Gaz says 100% agree about Fury being adaptable enough that he can beat most of these guys. Usyk apart, I think the other guys are only beating him if they can knock him out with a big shot when behind. How do you think Joe Joyce would do against Tyson Fury? Out of interest. I think that might be a bit interesting, that. 360 VR says AJ is too much of a commercial enterprise, which I think adds too much pressure. He should ditch the massive sponsorship deals and go back to basics. I don't even think that's a problem with him. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is Usyk was just a better boxer. I mean, AJ's always been this massive commercial enterprise as soon as he came out of the Olympics as the Olympic gold medalist. But he's been able to fight and get the job done. Usyk was just a big problem. Usyk's an incredible fighter. I think AJ just needs to change up a few things. Look, I mean, if you look at the fight, look at Usyk's face. I mean, AJ was definitely landing some punches. Just needs to be a bit more aggressive. A bit more aggressive, and then you never know. You never know. A lot of you agreeing, though, with 360 VR. We'll say I can see a lot of people in the comment section agreeing. Air Max 90_King says, Ade, I remember a few months ago I said if AJ fights Fury, I'm putting 1,000 on Fury, and you got annoyed with me and told me I won't do it. Yeah, all right. You probably will now. Probably will now. Rowan Perry says AJ needs to get the Eye of the Tiger back, Rocky freestyle. There is no tomorrow. Yeah, it's funny, but it really is like that. Like it so is like that, isn't it? Like, remember the beginning of Rocky. I don't know if it is, like, behind the scenes, we don't know. I mean, AJ is dedicated to the cause. He trains hard, but there is that kind of parallels with Rocky. And it doesn't help when he came out to Rocky music as well, did it? That didn't help. Jake Jansen says, Ade, I know it's late now. Are you going to do the one-on-ones with us? Also, your live last night was amazing. All right, let's see if we can get the one-on-ones going. What's the time? Yeah, we can do a bit of it, I guess. Let's see if any more questions first, then we'll see. Aaron Daly says, Ade, if I see you at the White versus Wallen fight, can I get an autograph, please? Although I'll be in the nosebleed section. Of course. What kind of question is that? Of course, you like autograph. Fucking let's go down and have a drink. You don't need an autograph. Let's have a drink, mate. Like, surely there's a pub at the O2 that we can just have a meet. You know what? Should we just do a meet and greet then? Not a meet and greet. That's wrong because I'm not fucking famous. But you know what I mean? Like, if anyone's going to the Otto Volume fight, surely if you get there early, we could just meet up at the bar or something. That makes sense. I would certainly favor Volin. White didn't look great against an aged Povetkin. 2 secs. Random question. I love these random ones. How many times a week do you shave your head? Once a week. You know, there's someone famous I know that's had like that tattoo hairline. Yeah, he shall remain nameless. Whoever did it for him anyway must have reached out to me and said, Ade, do you want like the tattooed hairline? I'll do it for free, and you can promote it on your channel. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Daz Ben says, where's the whiskey toast, Ade? We're not toasting to the whiskey until the studio is in full function mode. Right now, it clearly isn't. So I can show you a bit of it actually on the camera. Let me see if I can go that way. So we've got the TV up there. That's when I was watching. So I was doing the lives. You can probably see a bit of more photos that need to be put up. So this is a big table that we're on. So there's a big table over here. Oh, the camera. So there's still loads to go. There's these lights. That's where the guests see loads of mess. Got chairs there on the other side, but it's nowhere near done, which is why we're just kind of filming at this weird angle for now. What did it? MUFC, what was your high like at the volume fight? Getting steam with Addy at the bar. Yeah, I think that should happen. I think that should happen. But is Lacazette got a tattoo hairline? I didn't even know you had a tattoo hairline. That's what we should call it, an audience of Adi Oladipo. I said it. I did say this one, and I said it, and I'll say it again. Only Tyson Fury right now can beat Tyson Fury. Only Tyson Fury right now can beat him. But as everyone keeps telling me, styles make fights. I just think that styles. I just think that he's got a lot of styles. Okay, this is interesting. From Base the Kid, whose resume is better, Dillian White or Deontay Wilder? Dillian White or Deontay Wilder? That's a very good question. You think of Deontay Wilder's biggest wins: Luis Ortiz twice, Dominic Brazil, Molina, Spilka, Bermain Stavern. You know what I mean? You think of Dillian White's wins, yeah. Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora twice, although one I didn't think he did win. What else has he got on his resume? HELENIUS. Now that HELENIUS win all of a sudden looks really, really good, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Oscar Rivas, although Oscar Rivas hasn't gone on to do anything yet. And Povetkin. Oh, mate, if you say it like that, it's comfortably Dillian White. Am I lying, people? I mean, although Deontay Wilder has on the record books a draw with Tyson Fury, which counts for a lot, although it wasn't a draw. But yeah, if you weigh it out like that, then it's Dillian White. Dillian White's got the better resume of the two. Am I wrong? Correct. Let me see what people are saying. I don't think I'm wrong. Flizzy saying White fought HELENIUS on short notice. Bump of Case and Joe Parker isn't that good a win. I see why people are saying that now about Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker he's not looking great, is he? But Joseph Parker at the time had only been beaten by AJ at the time. I don't know. Look at this. Look at this. Dupas beat an undefeated HELENIUS. Wilder beat Dupas. Therefore, that's a great win for Wilder. Behave. Behave. All right, you know what I want to do? I want to try and invite a couple of you on for the last sort of 10, 15 minutes. The only issue is the sound, but we'll give it a go. I haven't got my headphones, so we're going to give it a go. Make sure your camera is on. Let's not, again, please, no foul language, no bad language. Just come on, be respectful. I'm going to put the link in the description. You can have your say. We haven't done this for a while, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to sound, but we'll do it, yeah? We'll do it. We'll get a few of you on. Let's get the invite in. There it is. There it is. There's the invite. There. It's in the comment section as well. Have a look at it. We'll get a few of you on, guys. We can't go too long. It's been a long day for me, but we are going to try and see if we can get a couple of you on. Again, please, guys, no swearing in the live. Please. Make sure your camera's turned the right way. And we'll try and keep it to like a couple of minutes just so we can get as many people on as possible. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I see Ian Hamilton's in the stream. A lot of you guys have clearly been waiting for this. I see Jake's there. I see Ryan's there. Ryan, clean your screen. Ryan, it's a bit muff. It's a bit like I can't see you properly, but but let me get Ian first. Ian, what's good in the hood, brother?
What's good in the hood? What's good in the hood, Ade? Well, the last 20. What's to say? The last 24 hours. The 24 hours. Last 24 hours of boxing. Jesus. Matchroom, and then that. Good grief! I mean, I think
it was actually crazy.
Jeez. I was watching the Fury Wilder at my cousin's. He paid for it, and I just was like thinking, seen this before. Like, I thought Fury was gonna wipe him out earlier. I thought he's just gonna try and get him out earlier. And then third, he gets him, puts it down. I'm like, okay, only a matter of time. And then when Wilder put him down, like my cousin was nearly having a heart attack because he's a big Fury fan, and he was like, "No, this can't happen.
Yeah.
Not the third one." And I was thinking this might actually happen. But then, look, you perhaps know everyone. You've perhaps heard me say it. I am an AJ fan, but I've got to give Fury his due. He got up and those two were like whacking. It was like watching a '70s fight. If you go back and watch the fight in '70s, they're just winging, and you're like, who's gonna go down here? Someone's got to go down here. And you know, Wilder just did what it is. Wilder did for me what I wish AJ had done a few weeks ago against Usyk. Just go at it. Just be like, empty whatever tank you got and just give it your all. And look, I'm hoping in the rematch he does that. But it's just, if I'm AJ watching that, I'm thinking that's what I should have done. I should have just gone for it and not feared being put down. It's like, but then onto Liverpool. God, that Cheeseman Williamson fight. I was worried for the main event that it was like WrestleMania 18 when The Rock and Hogan tore it down and Triple H and Jericho got overshadowed. I thought this is not good for the main event.
Honestly, that Cheeseman Williamson fight was it was actually special. It was actually special, and credit to both. Like, it's weird how even including myself, we're like, oh no, like Cheeseman needs to have a relax. He needs to chill out for a few months, but he gave everything he could in him for that fight. Everything.
But they just threw everything. But I was thinking of any minute Cheeseman because I'd seen more of Cheeseman. I thought, well, Cheeseman's been to the world before. He knows how to get this done. And then I didn't even see the knockout. I saw the punch, but I didn't see him go down. And next thing you know, I'm watching the feed, and I'm like, whoa, I knew he was out because his leg was bent over. It reminded me of Groves when he got KO'd by Frotch. And but I mean, what credit to it? And you know what I'm going to give credit to? And I know because you work with these guys. I think DAZN have nailed it with the commentary. Andy Lee and Mike Costello are brilliant together. Like, they just, if you haven't, I know, they just have something that makes you, they sound like fans who are glad to be there. And they just sound excited when even Andy Lee gets excited. And he's not
and Andy Lee is as mellow as they come. Like, Andy Lee doesn't get excited about anything, but he gets excited about boxing.
Yeah.
And he was upset. He was supposed to obviously be in the corner with Fury. But I think he had visa problems getting into America.
Yeah.
That's why
we all kind of have at the minute with America.
Yeah. But no, in terms of your fight of the night, just before you go, Ian, what was your fight of the night?
Where do you start?
From both cards.
On both cards. Well, obviously, Smith Fowler was good, but I did think Smith was the favorite. I thought Smith would get into it. So I'm going to go Cheeseman Williamson because I did not expect Cheeseman to get KO'd. So I'll say that was the one that got me. But the main event was still good. But I just think the undercard, the chief support, kind of usurped it a little bit. Obviously, main Fury Wilder, it had to be that because it was just. It was like watching as I said, a '70s fight. It was just slow. They were just.
Mate. It was like Rocky. It was like Rocky 2, Apollo Creed, and bloody Balboa going at it. There was no skill. There was no jabs. It was almost just like, I'm going to try and kill you with one shot. It was mental.
You know, on this point, I've been saying this to my friends all in the last 2 weeks because AJ likes to come out to Rocky-ish themes. I thought, if you're going to do a Rocky, mate, go to do a press conference and do what Rocky did and announce, I'm going to Usyk's backyard. We're going to Ukraine, and everyone's like, what?
Jesus Christ! I
go to Ukraine.
I'll be shitting myself.
And then
I'll be shitting myself.
Train in the woods and play Hearts on Fire, or just stand on the mountain and say Usyk.
Let's see what he can do. All right, Ian. Let's get Jake on. Appreciate you, Ian. Love you, brother. Mate. Thank you. All right, let's get Jake in the stream. Ian Hamilton, by the way, has been watching my channel for years. Really appreciate him coming on and showing some love. He's been watching it since the get-go, since box talk days with me and Ryan. So always appreciate Ian a lot. Trust me. Jake, what's good, brother?
Hey, Ari, how are you, man?
Not bad, not bad. I've realized I haven't done this for ages.
I know. I think the last time we did it, I think was I could be wrong, but it was not the time when the AJ and Fury thing fell apart and everyone.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe my embarrassment made me run away. That was it. I was like, you know what? I run away now. What do you make of the fights, Jake? Talk to me.
Okay, so the Wilder and Fury one, I've got to be honest. Obviously, I think as it went on, I was starting to. Obviously, I was still, not seeing hurting, but obviously as the weeks went on, because I mean the promotion wasn't great for, let's be honest. Yeah. But then I was to get more excited about it. But there's just one issue that I thought was a problem, which, okay, I don't want to bring up too much, but it was like all these excuses Wilder made from the Fury fight. And most people like Frank Warren, Bob Arum, Tyson Fury, before that woman when she's the 1-1, no one seemed to mention it, which I thought was very strange. But then if you think back to 10 years ago, when David Haye made one excuse about the toe after the Klitschko fight, and he's been given shit. Sorry for swearing the channel. He's been given it for like the past 10 years, and people still mention it now. And this Wilder thing, people just don't want to mention it again. So that was very strange about like how they didn't want to mention any allegations until maybe 2 or 3 days before the fight.
I found strange about the whole thing was the aftermath more than anything. Like I didn't like that. Look, they've clearly had beef and we get it, but I almost wanted to see an embrace there. These guys have made a lot of money with each other. They've really almost elevated, both of them have elevated each other. And it was a bit uncomfortable to see sort of Wilder tell Fury to go away. Didn't like that at all. But overall, one thing I love about big American fights, as opposed to fights in the UK, is when you look at all the superstars around the ring. You saw the rappers, the NBA stars, all the boxers were there. You just knew it was a big fight. It felt special, that fight.
Easy. I mean, you've got. I mean, well, there's two things. One thing what you just said there, I didn't like what Wilder did, because even in the first fight, when my opinion, Fury clearly won, and then Fury, he didn't say anything at the end. He congratulated Deontay Wilder after being robbed, and then Wilder does that after clearly being beaten. But then the second thing about the celebrities around it. I mean, I seen on Instagram today, Dwayne Johnson, who has about nearly 300 million Instagram followers, is sitting there posting about Tyson Fury, a guy from Morecambe. Is just absolutely incredible. Like, from the thing I found amazing is that when he went to Germany and beat Klitschko, a lot of people who I know, I mean, I don't know about you, a lot of people seemed really angry about with Tyson Fury. They're disappointed that he won, that people just weren't happy. They tried to get him off the BBC personality in 2015. I think people forget about that. And like now, it's just like, he's just completely just turned people around again.
That's why I think, Jake, he needs a homecoming fight.
Yeah,
I think he needs a big fight, just so the British public, because I feel like he needs to get that love and be shown that love from the British public. Yeah. This is a guy that's gone to people's backyards and has represented this country and done good things. And I think he needs a homecoming fight, ideally against someone not British, but if it has to be Dillian Whyte, so be it. But a homecoming fight against an Usyk, the same stadium where Usyk beat AJ, like a redemption revenge mission. And I think the British public will get behind him, like, okay, he's our man that's going to be Usyk. He's going to do it. And I think you get the AJ fans jumping on as well, like, please beat him, beat him. I think he needs a homecoming fight and he deserves one.
Yeah, well, like you said, we've never had that. I mean, the last time he came, because I mean, when he fought Pianetta, that was in Ireland, I think. And then obviously the Stephens Theory fight, that wasn't really, there's a couple of thousand there. But like you said, I mean, the Dillian Whyte one, that should, if they even consider America, that should not be allowed. Honestly, that would piss me off so much.
I'm already hearing whispers of America for Dillian Whyte versus Fury.
Shouldn't be though, right?
You know what it is? The problem about the fights over here, and I think, I don't know if any of you listening have been to Vegas, but it's not just like when you go to a fight here, say you go to the O2 Arena, you just go into the arena. You go in there, you might go to the pub, might go to Five Guys, get a bit of food. In America, they make a whole weekend of it. Everyone goes and spends money on the slot machines. Everyone books up the hotels. It's an event. And we still haven't got that over here yet where it's an event. It's just a one-day circus here. They need to create a bit more. And I think the big fights will happen here.
I agree.
There's not enough money over here.
They need to be, because I mean, that kind of fight is like, I agree with you. Okay, fight-wise, Usyk and Fury, I would be more excited for that. But then the reason I would agree with you with Whyte and Fury is just the build-up. the things White would get into his head and what Fury would say. Like I just can't picture in my mind them two being in a press conference.
You got Dean White versus Shane Fury.
Oh my God!
Big John Fury's going to get involved. Blood. I said to AJ, a roadman fight. I'm telling you now, Fury versus Dillian White is a roadman fight. That would be crazy. Jake, we got to go. I've got to get Ryan on. Ryan's been waiting patiently. Jake, really appreciate you coming in, brother.
Congrats on everything, mate. Just amazing. Well done.
Guys like yourself that keep supporting, so really appreciate it.
Oh, well done. See you later, mate.
Yeah, take care, bro. Man, it's nice. I haven't spoke to Jake since I ran away when the AJ Fury fight didn't get announced, and I kind of had to hide for a little while. And now, obviously, I'm back. Fuck it, innit? Take the L. Ryan, talk to me, brother.
How are you out there?
Not bad.
All the way from Holland, man. All the way from Holland.
Jeez, we got international flavor on the show.
Yeah, for sure. How are you, man?
Not bad, brother. What did you make of the fight yesterday? Talk to me.
Actually, don't laugh. I was sleeping. I see the fight around the round 6, I think.
Yeah.
Until around 11, I think.
Yeah.
But it was a great fight. Really great. I love Wilder. Because Wilder was like hard.
That's one thing I will say about Wilder. Like, forget the ability and all the things that he said about cheating. He showed a lot of heart. Like, a lot of heart. I think there was times when I thought that fight was done.
Yes, he was a warrior.
Do you think Deontay Wilder fights again?
Oh, that's a hard question, man.
Because some people think that's it. Some people think that's it. He's done.
He's not done, but he had to rest. I think he had to rest first because he made like a lot of money also.
Yeah, look, he's made millions. He's made millions.
Yes,
from that fight.
Yes, he made millions, and also like his first child was sick also.
Yeah,
but maybe he's like, okay, focus.
I
want to be with my family also.
Yeah, for me, I've always said, get in, get rich, get out.
Yeah,
it's such a dangerous sport. You've heard me say that before. Like, if you can go in, for sure, get money and get out, get out.
Yeah, get out. Yeah.
Former world champion. There's nothing to prove anymore. I don't think Wilder will be a world champion again. So there's nothing to prove. You've done it.
It's gonna be hard,
millions. Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah,
you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So what about next for Tyson Fury? Before you go, Ryan, Tyson Fury. What would you prefer to see, Dillian White or Usyk?
Dillian White. For sure. Dillian White for sure.
The
warrior. Wow. Dillian White for sure. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Ryan, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
See you, man. Bye-bye.
Hey,
Holland, man.
before you go, obviously, you know, I'm a Liverpool fan. Virgil van Dijk.
Oh yeah, Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, for sure. Big player.
I thought I just show my love to Holland because Liverpool.
Oh yeah, great. For sure.
And Gini Wijnaldum. Yeah, that's it.
Wijnaldum also.
Of course, brother.
See you, brother.
Take care, Ryan. Take care. All the way from Holland. We're running through these now. Anthony Vander is in the building. Anthony's been showing me love. Anthony's for a while on my Instagram. Much appreciated. Let's get him on now. Let's get Anthony on the stream. Yes, my brother. Yes, my brother.
Mate, good to see you, man.
You too, brother. You too. See how this looks a bit cleaner. We've not even got into the studio full. I'm only giving you guys a little sneaky little look of the studio.
It's looking sharp though. The post
sharp, isn't it? That photo I put up yesterday got people excited.
I love it, man.
What did you make of it yesterday, Anthony? Talk to me, bro.
Addy, man. Just from like even before the fight, the entrances, like it was like Tyson Fury, like 300. Wilder coming out with the rapper.
Yeah.
It was just like it was like a movie, like an epic blockbuster movie.
Did that feel bigger than AJ Usyk?
It did, I think, because it's the American appeal.
Something about that, innit?
Yeah, and I think what it was is it's like seeing Magic Johnson, seeing all the stars out, and then it just
I saw Terence Crawford was ringside. All the big boxers were there.
It reminds me
of AJ
of,
as well. AJ felt a bit because of the fireworks, it felt like a bit like WrestleMania. So
Yeah,
it didn't feel
yeah.
serious or dark. It felt almost fun. Whereas Wilder and Fury felt like this is going to be painful. This is war, yeah. One's dressed as an African warrior, one's dressed as a Sparta. I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
And I think the fight was just, obviously, I mean, it was just an epic. It was, I think, massive credit to Wilder, I think. I mean, it is like you said, it is really upsetting that the pride and the ego that he can't just shake Fury's hand and say you were the better man, because he would, you know, a lot of Americans don't like Wilder, unfortunately, but you can see that's kind of because of that behavior. That's why.
That is why. I think a lot of Americans and just a lot of people in general, just like sort of, there's that if you lose, kind of, you know, shake the hand of the person that beat you. There's that respect thing, and I think he lost it there. But I do think he's going to release a statement maybe in a couple of days' time once he watches it and reassesses. And you know, I think he'll reach out privately to Tyson Fury. I think there'll be something there.
And
possibly.
I think kind of what with Wilder, I'm talking a bit about Wilder, but I think mentally and physically, I mean, that was a lot of punishment that he took. And I don't, it's just whether how long, if he can recover from that, if he has the heart and desire, but he took,
not only that, Anthony, that's 2 beatings in a row. Like the first beating, everyone forgets the first beating. I know it was a long time ago, but that beating then was a beating, and now he's had to rebuild himself, and that's what he did. He kind of rebuilt himself, and then he took another beating, like another one. That's a lot of beatings back to back, man.
Fury, and like you said, I think honestly with Fury, I think he only beats himself. To be honest,
himself, bro.
I'm a huge AJ fan, and you know I want to see AJ go and dominate, but it's just these guys. It's just the levels, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing with boxing. I think we forget it. I think, again, you know what Fury is? It's the way he looks. I think he just looks like a guy that drinks Stella every day. This guy is
he's a bully, isn't he? He's a bully.
You know what I mean? He actually looks like that, doesn't he? But this guy can clearly fight.
It reminds me,
this guy's been fighting since he was 5.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ and Wilder have been fighting since they were, what, 17, 18. You can almost see the difference.
It's like the Steve Cunningham fight where he just bullied him and just like sat on him and just... It's ugly, but it does the trick. It's like he looked. I thought Fury looked pretty out of shape yesterday.
Yeah,
and he still gets the job done.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm not going to beat you that way, so let's just have a fight. Like he goes, and that's what I think we were begging AJ to do against Usyk. Like just beat him up, rough him up, try and do something like elbows, anything you can, low blows, anything, just to win the fight, headbutts, whatever. We'd have accepted it. And Fury does that. Fury's like, I'm not losing. We just got to do something.
I feel like with the trainers, if the trainer is like Sugar Hill is just special, you know, it's that lineage from like Emmanuel Stewart. I feel like, well, now AJ, I don't know if AJ could go with like, I don't know who's gonna.
I don't know what. It's clearly gonna stick with Rob McCracken, but I'm just. Funny thing is, I remember when I interviewed AJ, and I said, doesn't this all get boring? Like coming to Sheffield. Like doing the same thing over and over and over again. He's like, no, he enjoys it. And it must get boring. Like Fury, when you see Fury and Sugar Hill Stewart, it almost looks like they're just having fun. They look like
their shirts off.
You see them in the press conference with their top offs. They're in the top off with the press conference. They look like they're just having fun here. And boxing's so hard that if someone can make you have fun, then they're half winning, I think.
Yeah, Rob McCracken never. Doesn't look happy, does he?
No, it doesn't. It never looks like it. It looks like it's serious work. But I don't know. Just before you go, Anthony, what next for both? Do you think? Let's start with Wilder first. What do you think next for Wilder?
I think Wilder. I would like to see. To be honest, the thing is, will Wilder want a rebuilding kind of fight? He kind of needs it. Age isn't on his side, but I like him just back in the mix because I just
straight away.
He's got the equalizer, you know. He is a one-trick pony, but like you said, it is a good trick. So if you put him in with, I mean, all the other fighters are tied up, but
to be fair though, they're tied up for fights now. I don't think we're going to see Wilder until next year summer. I think he's going to take that long off. So I think by then, White would have had his fight, and we can see where he goes, and AJ should have had his fight, so we can see where he goes.
Maybe Ruiz.
Yeah, and you know what it is as well, and Ruiz, and because Wilder, he doesn't have a belt anymore. I think negotiations might be a bit easier. Like now it's a case of, okay, I need to get there, so I'll fight that guy, which I wouldn't have fought before. So I think fights might be easier to be made now because there are no egos. You've lost 2 in a row. You've lost 2 in a row now, so you know you should be willing to fight anyone.
No, I agree. I think as for Fury, I'd like to see him fight White just for the build up. I just think the build and the fact that I think Michael Sprott put on his Instagram, well, they did like sparring together as well back in the day. So I think there's that history and just White's got a mouth on him, isn't he?
White's got a mouth, and White is not intimidated or scared by Fury at all. Like he will go for it. Don't get me wrong, I think he'll lose, but just the build up would be fascinating.
And you know he'd go out on his shield as well.
Oh yeah, he would do what Wilder did. Dillian White would rather get knocked out than like, you know, he's not trying to have a boxing match. And if Fury tries to headbutt, White will headbutt. Do you remember when White fought AJ and AJ tried to hit him after the bell and Fury White that is Dillian White. White doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn.
We need that AJ back, man. We need that AJ back from the Dillian White.
He's gone. Nah,
he's not. Ade, have faith, man. Have faith.
Bro, I've tried. I went there and I called him Femi. I'm trying, but it's getting hard. It's getting harder.
You gotta have faith, man.
Nah, I've got faith. I've got faith in AJ. He will be back, but I don't know if he's gonna. I still don't think, even if he comes back, that he beats Usyk. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, just before I go, Ade, man, massive congrats on just everything, man.
Thanks, brother.
The zone, everything. Talk sport.
Hey, how good was that Journey documentary? That was fun, right?
Oh, that was big, man. That was big.
I've watched it back myself like 10 times. You forget you say things. I was like, shit, I said that, but it was good to kind of open up. Yeah, well. Even for me watching it back, I was like, shit, like a bit about Rose and going to Nigeria, but it was all fun, man. I think we have to tell those stories to kind of realize where we are now.
And the green chair, it all makes sense now. Your knowledge of
now people understand the green chair a bit more.
Yeah.
Now
connoisseur of sofas.
Yeah, and the connoisseur, bro. This isn't just by luck. I used to make these fucking things.
That's crazy.
All right, bro. Let me speak to a few more people then before I get out of here. I got King waiting for me. Take care, Anthony.
Cheers,
brother. Anthony Vander there, always a big supporter of the channel. All right, we've got 3 or 4 more. I want to make sure I get all these guys in because they've been waiting patiently. So we've got King, we got Joe, and we got HR coming. Let's get King in first. King, talk to me, brother.
Ade. It's good to see you.
Cheers, brother. King, how are you, brother?
I'm cool, man. From Germany, I always watch your channel, man.
That is crazy. I always find that amazing when people say stuff like this.
And the documentary, man, it was superb.
You watched it, King? You watched it, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a Nigerian.
Oh, you're Nigerian, so you know half the stories. You know already the way we are.
Yeah. Congrats, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Ade, I really want to talk to you about something because I believe you are kind of close to Anthony. I mean, AJ, in life, I believe that everybody has their own destiny. AJ is a puncher. AJ is not a bosser. All these years, this guy has been dominating. It was because of his ability to unleash that beast in him that made him to be a very strong force. So now it's like he just dropped his call and he's trying to go for something else. That is why that I'm talking from my own perspective. I feel that's why he's having problems. Compare the AJ of about 4, 5, 6 years back. Usyk can't stand him. And if AJ goes into the next fight and try to boss Usyk again, man, just forget about it.
No, you know what? I fully understand what you're saying. Like, there's AJ is almost become a boxer now, when before he was just this ferocious puncher.
Yeah,
that would just walk you down, looked bigger, looked stronger than everyone else. And he does need a bit more of that. He needs a bit more of the beast mode.
Yeah, the beast mode.
Yeah, beast mode is broken.
Yeah, unleash it.
Beast mode button is broken. AJ needs a bit of beast mode back.
Yeah.
Because this AJ now is maybe boxing a bit too much.
Yeah, that's just the problem. I cried. Sorry to say it. When AJ lose, I cried that evening. I couldn't sleep. I really felt bad. I really felt bad. My daughter was saying, Papa, Papa.
No, you know
what is happening?
Like, we Nigerians, like even obviously AJ is liked by not just Nigerians, but a lot of people. But Nigerians, it affects us a lot when AJ loses because he represents us as well a lot. And I was devastated. I was there and I was like watching it and I just couldn't even talk. I just couldn't even talk. But trust me, as much as it hurt me and you, it hurt AJ more. So AJ, it would hurt him more. And I think that's the reason we're going to see a better AJ in the rematch.
I
don't know.
I just pray so. I pray so. And the fight last night. Oh
yes,
my
God,
God.
yes.
Man, we must give credit to Deontay Wilder. I don't really like him, but that guy showed the heart of a lion.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
The guy was just too much. He came out of his shade and he really fought like a man, but the Gypsy King, he was just too good.
Yeah, like I think, you know, sometimes as much as boxing, people like to break it down technically. Sometimes if someone's just better than you, they're better than you.
Yeah, you said it all.
That's all it is. You know, like people like to say, okay, do this, do that. Sometimes someone's just better, and Fury is just better than Wilder.
Sorry, I know I'm taking your time, but I have to say something. Do you know that there are some boxing channel that I used to watch? Then after some time, I just decided to do away with these guys. Then after the fight last night, I went back to those channels again to listen to what they have to say. I'm talking about channels like, is it a Fanon, 78, boxing, I don't know.
I don't even know
Dante Nation.
Yeah.
Then the other guy, Blue Blood, that one have not spoken anything.
These are the Wilder channels, right?
These are the people that are against AJ, Fury, in short, the British bosses. But today I was surprised they didn't have anything to say. Right now, no glove gate, no sparking of water, no costume. Nothing again. I was just laughing. I said, look at these guys.
These guys, and I think they chatted so much nonsense.
Nonsense, brother.
And you know, if you're gonna chat that nonsense, you've got to back it up. Like when AJ lost, I knew I had to come on this channel and just accept my losses like a man. But those guys didn't want to accept it. You know, it is what it is.
I've got 3 boxing channels that I really follow.
Quickly, before I let you go, come and tell me.
Yeah, your own.
Of course,
number one. Are they?
Yes.
Then this Counterpunch.
Counterpunch is good. Counterpunch.
Then this other guy, what's his name? Showbiz the adult.
Oh, Showbiz, the crazy guy.
Yeah.
Showbiz.
2 sugars.
That guy is crazy. That guy is so much energy. I don't know how he's got so much energy.
Even as of today, I was listening to the guy. The guy who spoke about what I'm saying now. He said when Wilder fought Tyson Fury the first time, they said the glove was loaded, blah blah blah. But as at yesterday, Wilder sustained the same injury he sustained in the first fight. The ear was bleeding, the nose and everything. Yeah.
King, this is boxing. Let me go. People are waiting.
Oh, Ade, I really, really appreciate. I'm going to take a little whiskey now before I sleep because I spoke with you.
My guy, King, thank you, brother.
Thanks, brother.
So much. Thank you.
I really appreciate.
King, all the way from Germany, watching us and supporting the channel. This is it. We've got loads of people. All right, 2 more, guys. We've got 2 more. And then we got to go. We've got Joe, who's been waiting patiently in the back, and we got HR. Joe, coming to you right now. Joe's in the building. What's good, brother? How are you?
I'm good, mate. Can I pick off what I want to pick up where the last guy left off because he was so
go for it.
He was so positive. It was absolutely great.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, I love the documentary and all
King
that
had
stuff.
good energy.
Absolute quality. I was also just going to say some of the other channels that I think have been fantastic recently. BWTM Sport. He's had Ingram. He's had a lot of James Ali Bashir on, and he's
okay. Yes, you know the funny thing is about
fantastic.
Ingram. I met Ingram. He's from Brighton. I met him years ago. He used to be a boxer himself. But yeah, he's a good channel. Very, very underrated channel. Very underrated.
Obviously, the regulars, G-Man, Hatman, all fantastic. I like Ultra. He's not everyone's cup of tea.
I love Ultra Tech. He's crazy. He's crazy, but I love him. Yeah,
and if you want crazy, like TFL, like Ty and Booth is just a laugh sometimes. But he's so over the top. He's funny, but he's so over the top.
He's a nutter.
Yeah. All I wanted to say was about the thing that I said earlier about White not being top 6. I feel like
was that you? Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah,
Joe, talk to me. Let me see. I've just arranged my seat now. Let's have this chat.
Do you like my bed sheet setup here?
Is that what you've got? Is that a bed sheet? I thought that was wallpaper.
I record videos online and stuff for tutoring and stuff, so I have to have this setup.
Okay.
Makeshift, but yeah. I was just interested. Do you mean White's top 6 is in his stock in boxing, or just he is top 6 best in heavyweight?
No, the thing is, with the top 6 best is that I've always said that for me, White's closer to the guys from 4 to 10 than he is the top 3. So the top 3 at the time was it was before Usyk kind of entered the fray, but the top 3 was Wilder, Fury, AJ. And I said White would get beat by all those 3 and he would have good fights against the rest. But White's resume is better than the rest. So I just have to put him above those guys. Like, do I think White could beat Hrgovic? Not sure. But White's had the better wins than Hrgovic had. So I've got to give him the respect and put him above a Hrgovic. Because Hrgovic, what's the best win that Hrgovic had? Molina? Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? So Wilder has to be there. White has to be there for me just because of resume. Not because I think he would win the fights, because I think they're all close fights against Joe Joyce and Tony Yoka and Hrgovic and Andy Ruiz. But again, I think I read out his resume about 20 minutes ago. That's a solid resume. And you look at the HELENIUS fight now, and the HELENIUS win, all of a sudden, starts to look really good.
Absolutely.
Where do you have him then? What, 10, 8, 9?
He's somewhere between 6 and 10 for me, most definitely. I think
give me your top 6.
You've got the top 4. I think they're undoubtedly the top 4. But the difference, this is where the difference comes, because I would prefer to use resume as a retrospective tool to judge people's greatness after the fact, rather than how good they are currently. I would, I prefer looking at, say, for instance,
what about most recent win? Don't you do that as a tool?
Most recent win, but it's also
that has to play a part, surely.
Absolutely, but I think also it's got, like, obviously if you knock over 100 bin men, that's not going to be tremendously impressive to me. But what I mean is also the fashion in which it comes in. So like, I respect that White's a very good fighter, and he'll go down as someone who took on all comers and everything like that. Yeah, I do think you can only go to the well so many times, and think with things like punch resistance and stuff like that. I think he's been in a lot of wars that hadn't. They didn't have to be wars, if you see what I mean. They didn't have to be fights that necessarily. They weren't fights that were on his level. I don't think Rivas is on his level, for instance. But that ended up being
White, though. I almost feel I've never been a big fan of White's boxing ability. Look, let's not forget this guy was a kickboxer prior to even taking up boxing. So I almost feel like he has to have a scrap in order to win. It's a bit like Derek Chisora. Right. These guys are not going to beat you using a jab. They haven't got the Olympic pedigree of a Joe Joyce or a Yoka or anyone else. They almost have to go to the trenches to win. And you're right, that style doesn't last long in this boxing game. Doesn't last
regardless,
long.
If I'm just going to give my top 6, then I would have Fury number 1, most likely, followed by Usyk. Although, interestingly, talking of James Ali Bashir, yesterday he said that Usyk, he believes, is the best in the division, followed by Fury, which is a bit off the wall. But regardless, I think AJ and Wilder, I'd rank AJ above Wilder, but I think Wilder might beat AJ, if that makes sense. I think AJ fares. I think AJ fares with the competition of the heavyweight division far better than Wilder on the whole.
But it's a one-on-one competition.
But I think on a one-on-one competition, Wilder's kind of made for AJ. And then 5th, I've got Ruiz. I think Ruiz. If you're looking at resumes, I understand that cumulatively White has fought a lot of good, like, beat your opponents, as you said, a lot of pretty good ones. But Ruiz has that victory over AJ. He also has, in my eyes, a victory over Parker, even though he didn't get the decision. And then, you know, past that, obviously, it deteriorates quite quickly. But I think he's got a very solid resume just off the back of those two.
I look. The thing is, there could be almost like 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D. Because I could put Ruiz in with White, with Hrgovic, with Joyce. They're all so closely matched for me, where they could almost fight in a Super Six, and they could all have a win against each other. I think they're all stuck in between. I think the other 4 and 5 are heads and shoulders above the rest. But they're all very close. The thing is, Dillian Whyte, I've taken a long time to come around to Dillian Whyte, but I just give him a respect for just some of the wins have been like some good wins, solid wins on that resume. Solid wins.
The one reason I would still have Ruiz above him for me is that, as you said, that's interesting. That guy saying Whyte above Ruiz.
I just put that there just to help my argument.
As all I was going to say was that, as you said, Whyte is kind of far removed from those top 3. He might not be so much now with, you know, AJ and Wilder both fighting their own, you know, issues at the moment. But I don't think Ruiz is so far. I think Ruiz versus Wilder is a very close fight. I think Ruiz versus AJ, and in shape Ruiz is once again a very good fight.
I think Ruiz is a fantastic boxer. I have to admit, like I was in Saudi for the second fight, and I honestly believe if he was in shape, that's a problem for AJ. But he came in at 300 pounds. His hands are fast. He closes the distance deceptively quick for a man that, let's be honest, isn't in the greatest physical condition. He's a very good boxer. I just don't know if the hunger's there now that he's got a lot more money than he ever had. But the best Ruiz for me beats the best Dillian Whyte. But I don't know if we're going to see the best Ruiz. Well, I think Dillian Whyte will get himself in the best nick he possibly can.
Absolutely. I think Ruiz is a great finisher too. But anyway, and then if I was just rounding out my top 6, I think the one who probably beats... It is a toss-up between Hrgovic, Yoka, and Joyce and fighters like that. But I'd probably give it to Joyce just because I think... I just think there are so many fighters who would just struggle with the fact that he's got such an engine and he'll just keep on coming.
The Joyce thing's interesting because I do think Dillian Whyte will beat Dubois, and I think Dillian Whyte would have beat Takam. So as good as those wins are, I think Dillian Whyte beats them both as well. Don't wrong, could have both of them could cause him problems, but I think he comes through them.
But then I think, to put it simply, I can't see Whyte beating Joe Joyce, you know, so I then stack that up against it. I think Joe Joyce most likely, I mean, Whyte is definitely not chinny, like we know that, but he's gradually going to have less and less punch resistance. Like, look how brutal that knockout was.
Punch resistance. Do you know how many times Joe Joyce has been cracked? Like that juggernaut chin thing can't last forever.
I know it can't last forever, but for now, I'm not expecting a massive decrease in the next, fight or two. I think it's going to take more because I look at Whyte and I see, like, at the beginning of his career, he suffered that brutal knockout to AJ and stuff like that, and he carried on. And then before long, it was, big uppercut from Rivas or something, that's on the floor. Massive, shot from Povetkin, that's on the floor. Like, I think if you land those uppercuts on Joyce, I think his chin's just ridiculous. I think Rivas uppercut is just not knocking
right. No, you could be right. Honestly, you could be right.
But we could talk about this for ages. But I just wanted to make like one or two quick points just before I
go ahead. Go. I just realized who you are. Guy with the Usyk avatar. Okay. Yeah. Nice. All right, go on. A couple more points.
I'm trying not to do a CRB, but yeah.
No, it's all right. At least you've shown your face.
Firstly, one thing I would like to say is everyone's saying Wilder's taking the loss incredibly badly off the back of him not shaking Fury's hand. I disagree. I think obviously it was bad that he didn't shake his hand. I think emotions were running high. He could have well been concussed. Like, he'd been knocked out so badly. And since then, he's released a statement where, if I just put it up quickly, he said, "I did my best, but it wasn't enough. I'm not sure what happened. I knew he didn't come in at 277 to be a ballet dancer. He came to lean on me, tried to rough me up, and he succeeded." Like, he's basically saying he was the better man there, I think.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. I'm not too sold on the fact that he has to go and shake someone's hand after someone just knocks you out. Someone that you fought, and he probably still does to an extent think Fury in some way or shape or form has cheated, whether it be performance enhancing drugs or something. So he's not going to go and shake his hand. I'm not too bothered about all of that, if I'm honest with you. I mean, on one hand, yes, I would like to see them close this chapter with a bit of humility, but this is boxing. They're kicking the shit out of each other. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna cry over, oh, we didn't touch each other's gloves. It's just how it is. Go on, what's your last point, Joe?
Yeah, last
you've
point
been really
quickly.
good, Joe. You've got to come on again.
Just to chuck my 2 cents in the mix, I know a lot of people would prefer to see White Fury, and I know the build up would be like, you know, absolutely quality. Like it'd be better than Cesaro. It'd be quality, but I prefer to see the Usyk fight. I think Usyk's like got a really good chance against Fury. Like,
you know what it is though about boxing
but...
for me, and aside from the 36 minutes of the fight, I'm all about the month build up. I'm all about the press conferences. Like the whole package of White Fury is better than the whole package of Usyk Fury. That's what it is. So yeah, you're right. The actual fight itself, Usyk Fury would be a lot better. But for some reason, when I think of White Fury, I think of Shane. I think of Dean White. I think of all of that, and I'm thinking of, you know what, take my money now. I think of that. Whereas Usyk, we know that the English barrier is not. He's trying, but it's not there. So you're not going to get anything until the fight. And I feel like in order to sell the fight a bit more, you do need a bit more build up.
Yeah, and just to sort of add on to that point, I was just going to say, I know this isn't necessarily an argument for Usyk beating Fury, because I know the size difference is huge. It's, you know, it's 6 inches. Like that's a huge height difference. But I just wanted to say, I really don't like the idea of this saying where it's like a good big man beats a good small man. I think I think it needs to be nuanced a bit. I think it should be a part of styles make fights, if you see what I mean. I think we should talk about how styles make fights, and inherently taller people have basically it's all waffle, and it's tough to turn into a short phrase. But what I was going to say is there are so many examples of fighters who I think are both great. Like the person earlier said, AJ versus Usyk, and obviously there are levels between them on boxing skill, so it's not a great example. But like, for instance, Frazier versus Ali, there's a 4-inch height difference there, but in their first fight, Frazier didn't land a lucky punch. He consistently beat him like on many of the rounds and punctuated it with that knockdown at the end. So I'd say, you know, they're both fantastic fighters. Ali arguably better, and Frazier smaller, and yet still won the fight.
Yeah, but you know, you're right, and you are 100% right. But with the Frazier Ali example, there was 12 pounds between them. Here, you're talking 4 stone.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean, it's a huge weight advantage, especially when you think of how boxing works nowadays, where even in the smaller weights, people cry about someone coming in a couple of pounds over on the scales.
Yeah, like
there would be nearly 50 pounds difference. That's a huge amount. And is Usyk good enough to kind of to negate that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Possibly.
I think we'll find out, because I think the fight's going to happen sooner rather than later.
I mean, realistically, when I was saying that just now, as I said, I wasn't you sort of using that as an argument as to why Usyk would necessarily beat.
No. Of course.
Although what I would say is that I think it's more relevant when talking about, for instance, AJ versus Usyk, where it's not so much of a discrepancy. It's still about 10 kilograms. You know, it's 20 pounds. It's still quite a lot, but it's like, well.
Yeah, I think so many people made a lot about the size difference between AJ and Usyk, and it wasn't. I think when we saw them at the weigh-in, I was like, well, AJ's bigger, but he's not that much bigger. Whereas I think if we do see Fury Usyk, I think that's the one where we'll be like, okay, well, 1 second, this is like Rocky versus Dolph Lundgren. There's a big fucking size difference here. All right, Joe, let me get HR on.
Cheers.
Before I pack up and go to bed, because it's been a long one. Joe, really appreciate it coming on. Now I know who you are. We'll get you on a lot more, Joe. Really appreciate it, brother.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, dude. Joe was good, right? He knew he's boxing. Joe knew he's boxing a lot. A lot of you guys are saying you want to come on. Guys, it's been 2 hours. I need to go to sleep. This is the last one. HR has been waiting patiently for ages. So we're going to get HR on right now. HR, brother.
It's not been too long, to be honest with you.
Has it not been too long?
Yo, it's good.
No, man, what's good, brother?
No, not done.
I feel like
it's been kind of on and off. So. No, but first of all, I just want to point out your documentary. Proper good. Yeah. It's inspirational, to be honest with you.
It's weird, everyone says that.
Yeah,
it's nice. I like. I don't know. I just hope it sets an example for some people. Put it that way.
Yeah. As a 19-year-old, I proper liked it, but it's like the behind-the-scenes things and all that. I'm a big fan of it. Top 6 heavyweights. Just pick up from there, innit?
Yeah. What are you thinking?
How? I don't know. It's just people underrated in a way, big time. I think he has a massive chance of beating Tyson Fury, in fact, because he's got. No, so let me just point this out,
One
because
second. You come in and you say massive chance. You better back that shit up.
not massive,
No,
but
no, one
compared
second.
to
You
what
can't go
people
back
are
on
giving
words.
him.
You said massive.
I mean 60, 40, 70, 30, kind of like that.
In his favor.
But in Fury's favor, obviously.
Okay,
but,
okay. See, now you're kind of taking your words back a bit here. Now, okay.
Yeah, no, because like people think it's like one-sided and all that, but
no, you're right. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Otto Volin caused Tyson Fury problems, so you know,
yeah,
it's definitely something there.
But like one thing's for sure, like Fury ain't intimidating. You know why? That's a given fact. Plus, Fury's just been in massive war. Like he took a lot of punishment. That will definitely take something out of him.
It will, but let's also remember that Dillian Whyte got put on his ass last year, so that took something out of him. But then again, it's better to get knocked out, I think, once. Like it's better to take one big punch than it is to take a sustained beating. But Fury took a lot of big shots yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, and like when was the last time Dillian Whyte took like consistent beating, like a consistent 12-round beating? Probably Joseph Parker, maybe Derek Chisora.
Yeah, it's actually been a while.
It's been a long
he's
time.
taken a load of punches. I agree, actually. But regardless of that, sometimes it's all about skills. Skills pay the bills, Mr. HR. And as good as Dillian Whyte,
that's what I'm saying.
Level to this sport.
Fury is the favorite, but he's a live dog. Dillian Whyte is definitely a live dog.
If anyone says Dillian Whyte's not a live dog, they're lying. Dillian Whyte's a live dog. Yes, I'm with you. Fury favorite, absolutely. He's going to be. He's the #1 heavyweight in the world. But a guy that I have at number 5 or 6 surely has to be live.
And if he fights Dillian Whyte in December, like he says he's going to, but I don't really give him much of a chance. Can't do that. Like October, massive war with Deontay Wilder, arguably biggest puncher of all time, being down twice in that fight as well.
Yeah, so he's more likely to fight in May. As much as Tyson Fury is a good boxer, he does chat a lot of shit. So it's more likely that he fights in May. He's not fighting.
He backs it up. He backs up.
So every time he chats a bit of doo-doo, you're right, he backs it up. He goes in there and win. HR, just before you go, I want to ask a couple of things. Who next for Deontay Wilder if he does fight? Just before you go.
I don't think he fights, but who I'd like to see him in with, maybe a Dillian Whyte for the build-up. Even though I think Dillian Whyte beats him, I don't want to seem like a Dillian Whyte fanboy, but no one really gives him what he should have. No one really gives him the credit that he deserves. Like for that resume, Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora twice, as you pointed out. Who else? HELENIUS, that aged well. What else?
He's got some good wins in there. Rivas is good. Maris Vac.
Can't really put that much stuff into that one. Yeah.
No, he's got some solid wins. I think he gets his credit. I just think the guys above him in number 1, 2, 3, and 4, AJ, Usyk, Fury, Wilder, are just they've got more.
AJ, Usyk, Fury, yeah, but not Wilder. Like with Wilder, it's kind of like same thing. I think Dillian puts I think Dillian does to Wilder what Fury done to Wilder.
I think Wilder would knock Dillian out till next week.
Nah.
If Wilder,
maybe I get your view.
Land the punch that he landed on Tyson Fury yesterday on Dillian Whyte is not getting up.
Yeah.
Not getting up.
I think Wilder's just way. The thing is with Fury, he was nowhere near his best yesterday. Like let's be honest, nowhere near his best, and he done that to the biggest puncher of all time. So, and that's why I said that's why I pointed out in the chat. He's probably better than Lennox. Might be better than Lennox.
You that said that.
Yeah, that was me.
How old are you? 19.
Okay, I'm not a historian, but
that's why that's probably why you said that. How dare you?
No, I've watched the fights of Mike Tyson,
Lennox Lewis. Yeah, like Lennox, like come on, Olympic gold medalist as well. You know, it's just the amateur and the stuff. HR, how dare you do this? See, look what they're doing. Look what they're doing, HR. Look, I know.
Everyone's gonna
look at that. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing.
It's not that. Listen, ability-wise and all that, but his confidence, mind games, psychology, all that. It's like
I don't work with Lennox Lewis. But then again, Lennox Lewis got beat by Hassan Rahman. He got beat by Oliver McCall, but no, doesn't work. HR, gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Really appreciate you coming on.
Good night, man.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
my man. Much appreciated. Guys, it's been a long one. I'm gonna love you and leave you. I know a few of you want to come on, but it has been a long stream. As you can probably tell by my voice, I am pretty tired. I've got to be back in the studio in less than 12 hours. So I need to go home, have a little rest, and come back and do some more filming. Peace and love, people. Thank you so much to everyone that done super chats and everyone that left questions in. I tried to get through as many as possible.